This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Morning and welcome once again to the Sunrise Safari, coming to you live from Djuma in the Sabi Sands, South Africa. My name is Steve. I'm joined once again by Davisito on camera. Please, as always, send through your questions, comments, hashtag SafariLive, or drop them on the YouTube chat stream. Let us know what you'd like to talk about this morning. Well, anyway, let's got some zebra over here, which are looking very, very cool in the morning. It looks like a small bachelor herd of males. They've been doing a little bit of fighting, and a lot of people will ask, how do you know it's a male zebra? Well, I'll give you a moment and we will have a little look-see. Quite often the males are quite obvious in their behavior, in the way that they play with each other, and well, the one on the right there is definitely showing you that he is not a girl. Okay, so if you were confused, that is generally what you can look for. And Impala photo bombing. But we did have a few months, I remember months ago when I was here, there was a group of, oh, hello, there was a group of stallions hanging around that would come and go from the center of Djuma here on quarantine. And well, this is a very nice area for not only the impala and the zebra, but also the wildebeest to hang out and sort of keep themselves protected. Oopsie, he's got some, some beans this morning. Cal 6 indeed. It is nice to come out this morning and find a zebra out in the open. A little bit of a cleaning from some oxpeckers there. And you can clearly see the one at the back is also a boy now, can't you? Uh-oh, yeah, most certainly a boy. Doing his part to recycle the nutrients back in to the ground. Very important, uric or urea. It goes down and obviously changes the pH of the soil. And a little bit of play for the boys on the right. You know, stallions need to hang out in a group initially as they develop and hone their fighting skills. And then one day, once they are big and strong enough, the one that's just walking across screen now does look in prime condition. He'll be able to follow and meet up with some of the breeding herds or harems and try and wrestle one or two of the young ladies away from one of the dominant males. That is kind of what happens, but they need to be able to fight with each other initially to work out all of those strategies. This little baby is showing us what to do in the face of danger. Where is mommy, little one? Shame. Where's mommy? There's a huge herd of impala here. Crystal, that's a great question. I mean, stallions are slightly bigger than females. They do look bigger when you compare them. I don't really know about jowls and all that sort of thing, but in general, a stallion... Now, that is what we call pronking, folks. That is the behavior portrayed by an impala that has spotted a wild dog. And it also is important for warming themselves up, but that body language is indicating to the predator how fast and how fit they are. And there we go. Boys will be boys in the morning. As the Nyala just watch on what is making the impala run around. Always have a look when another animal flees. Always want to know what is it. And well, our resident group of male Nyala in the open area. The two one-year-old male impalas born last year, November. You can see the length of the horns, a very good indication of their age. Okay, well, we're going to move on from here. We're going to see if we can pick up on any tracks of the little Prince Hosanna. But in the meantime, Sid has drove past, and he's on his way down south. Let's go see what his plans are.
What a great morning. I have got this animal popular as Pumba. This is the warthog. A very, very good morning and welcome to the beginning of the morning safari. This is Sydney Pumurani Mikosi and I'm traveling with Senzo, who is my camera operator this morning. We are going to try by all means to get you see quite a lot of interesting animals this morning. For in case if you need our attention, you can follow us on Twitter, #SafariLive. You can also follow us on YouTube chat stream. You can see that the warthog is prepared, listening to our introduction, and he is not worried at all. You can see now, I think he's sniffing, he's starting to feed. Warthogs, mostly they are very much shy. So this is a male warthog. We call him a boar. A female is called a sow. You can see the two words there. So there's no need in order to check the copulatory organs of the warthogs. You just have to distinguish between male and females just from their facial expression. You can see those words coming out. The male has got two words and the female has got just one word. The tail he is waving now is a very good sign of a follow me sign. Every time you see the warthogs running away, they lift up their tails to show their babies and the other family members, we are going to this side. A group of warthogs is called a sounder. When the sounder is running away, you will see all the tails up in the air. I know people, they do get a confusion between him, the warthog, as well as the bush pigs. These are two completely different species. They are all pigs. Warthogs are much more active during the day. A child of the universe, this warthog is looking very much big, and something else you must remember, child of the universe, is that these animals here in the universe, they can survive up to 12 years. Looking at his size now, I can promise you, he is probably older than 8 years. You can see that he's quite a very big male. Look at that. You can see he's trying to listen to us. He's concentrating too much because these animals also do get predated by the dangerous animals such as the leopards. We have seen Tingana taking down a warthog before. I was not on a sighting, but I saw that sighting. One of my colleagues, I think it was Steve, has been lucky witnessing that sighting. That was earlier this year. This year is only left with 1 day now. Yeah, it was earlier this year. So now let's quickly go back to Steve, who's got the lovely impalas at the moment.
We do have some lovely impala. I don't know what's going on. We heard some distress calls. Let's have a little listen. Well, these impala lambs made a bleating sound, and this huge herd of impala all just descended on each other, all shouting. This really strange sort of, you can hear it now. And in amongst it all was this, the wildebeest are now going crazy. Everything is full of beans this morning, folks. Now that is why the settlers to the Cape many years ago named the wildebeest, because they thought this cow looks a little bit crazy. And well, there they are. They do kind of look like cows. If you've never seen a wildebeest before, you'd probably think it was a cow of some sort. And when they run around like this in a little bit of a mental state, wilde meaning wild and beast, well, cow of course. And there's some youngsters, the youngsters wondering what is going on with this herd of impala that now seemingly all quietened down again. But that was really quite interesting to see. I've never seen a herd of impala rally together like that at the sound of a sort of bleating call from the youngster. Lee, it is a big kindergarten. Look how fast I am. Now, wildebeest, as we know, folks, don't have the same... Oh, there we go. Mum's chasing me now. Or maybe that's one young bull. I'm not sure. Wildebeest don't have the same strategy as most of the other animals we have here. Impala will breed in numbers, and they hide their youngsters for a little while. The youngsters seemingly having no scent in the beginning. But the wildebeest are born, and within 15 to 20 minutes need to be able to move with the herd, because, well, they are normally in enormous herds. For example, the migration and in the open plains of the Serengeti, there's no way for them to be protected. If they don't move with the herd, they are going to be eaten. So here the same wildebeest calves are born, and they're able to move with the group almost immediately, which is a very, very important strategy for keeping them safe. And while the impala nonsense has really instigated these wildebeest now. Hello Deanna, you want to know the difference between Thompson's gazelle and impala? Well, a gazelle is a type of antelope. It's just a different branch of the antelope species. Impala is an antelope, and they do not have, the females do not have horns. The males have horns, females do not have horns. The impala is regarded as an edge specialist, so being a mixed feeder, living on the edge of thickets and being able to move between open areas and thickets as a benefit for their feeding type. Whereas gazelles, all gazelles in general, are open plain specialists, and like the impala, like the wildebeest, the male and female have horns. Essentially the female has horns to potentially chase away or defend her youngster at time of predation. So I don't have a picture of a Thompson's gazelle here, but I do have a picture of a springbok, and the Thompson's gazelle's got the same color, got the white, the black and the golden on top, when the impala doesn't have that black at all. But they are quite similarly related. There's just quite a few differences in where they occur and how they behave. So anyway, this is marvelous to see all of these animals behaving like this. We're going to go around to the other side because they're all looking down there for some reason. There might be something there, but let's go up to the Mara with David.
And welcome to the Mara Triangle in Kenya. And it's still rather dark here, and I'm looking at the eastern horizon hoping the sun is going to push up. It's still a bit early for that to happen, but either way, I got one of the best skies I've seen for the last couple of days. We have been having rains almost every other day for the last 3 weeks. Not any for the last 5 days. I'm not sure that makes any sense to what I'm saying, but those days we've been having rains, we could not see the sunset, we could not see the sunrise, but I got a feeling today we're going to see a glorious sunrise. How beautiful is that? And my name is David, and with me is Bungay. Bungay, good morning, sir. Bungay is on the third day out of leave on work. Bungay, keep showing us the sunrise. Make sure the sun comes up. Remember, this is a very interactive safari, and should you have any questions or any comments, please don't be shy. We like hearing from you. Send them through using #SafariLive. Another chilly morning here. 59 degrees Fahrenheit and about 15 degrees Celsius. That's the metric. Kenya, we have always done metric, and I remember it was a big challenge for me while in school when the teacher would give us or would tell us to convert temperatures from, Fahrenheit to metric, Fahrenheit to Celsius, and vice versa. It used to be one of the most longest formulas I've ever seen. It was very complicated, which made me hate maths. Well, today I'm thinking of looking for rhino, even very lucky. Yesterday I saw loads of lions and the usual normal game here in the Mara Triangle. Michelle, good morning. Is it good morning, Michelle, where you are? You see, that's so beautiful. Great comment. You're the first one to give me your comments. Michelle, many thanks, and hopefully I'm going to catch up with you later. If not, Happy New Year, Michelle. And yes, you could not ask for a better sunrise than that. It's just come out, Michelle, maybe another 20 minutes, I'm thinking. And what will happen is we just know to move ahead. One of the best things I like seeing this time around is huge animals like elephants with the background of that sunrise, or even giraffes. All right, time to go. Hope you've enjoyed that little snippet of the sunrise. Okay, lights on. Very good. Yes, if you're lucky. I mean, we have always seen cats. Cats are always good to see or to look for, but rhinos tend to be forgotten. And I think they're also interesting animals to look and see their behavior, and especially so the black rhinos that we see here in the Mara. The black rhinos are native to the Mara, and in Kenya, of course, we got both the black and the whites. But the whites were introduced here from South Africa, where Steve and Sydney are. So I may have to put my spotlight on just to make sure I don't miss anything as I go down the Olololo escarpment. Last night, lots of elephants trumpeting very near the camp. Not sure why they came that far, but elephants have a very diverse. Kropisosh, great comment. By the way, it's true, this is the last morning for 2018. Bugay, did you know that? Thank you for that comment. I mean, honestly, I have to tell you, I at one point did not know what you're talking about. But now I realize today is the very 31st, and it's the last day of 2018. Excellent, thank you for reminding me. Because here in the bush for us, a Sunday, a Monday, Christmas, ideally it's the same. We're having lions there, we're having giraffes there, we're having that sunrise on good days every day. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, today I should put in my mind, this is the last day of 2018. And yes, what a lovely morning to finish our year in style. I just want most likely to see the most unusual sighting today being the last day, or possibly tomorrow seeing another, you know, sighting out of this world, being the very first day of the year. You never know, it could be anything. So back in my mind, my big plans are rhinos, but of course towards the rhinos or from the rhinos there's a lot that we'll always see. So for the moment I'm just enjoying that beautiful sky, and my lights are on. Let me see, how far can your zoom go there, because I'm not sure I got some lions there. Bungay, is it too far, Bungay, for you? You see where my lights are? I'm seeing something like a lion there. So you're gonna chance, I could even surprise myself on this last day of the year. Either I saw something like a lion, I could be right, man, and this is gonna make the end of the year for me. So what we're gonna do, I got a feeling there's some two lions there. Why don't I turn around, Bungay, and yeah, it's a lioness, definitely, 100%. Very good boy, Bungay. Yes, this is a very good way to end 2018. And now, you see that particular lion there? That's not the normal color of the lioness, or those two there, and even that bush. Because what Bungay has done, he has done some magic, and he has gone to what we call infrared. I could be wrong. I might think maybe these guys, are they having a kill? Are they eating something? Oh, not one, not two, not three, not five. Ooh la la. This is the best thing to happen at the end of this year. I'm going to find out who these lions are, but my immediate guess, this is the Olololo Pride. Good morning! You have made 2018 to end in style. Thank you very much, Bungay, for going to IR. Initially using my spotlight, I saw some two eyes there that were glaring at me, and I was like, Bungay, what could that be, you know? And I think this is like a whole group of these lions here. Locally here we call them Simbas, and I was telling Bungay, Simba, Simba, and Bungay was like, no, there's no Simba there. So what we're going to do is go a little close to them, because they have the best location when they're together. So Bungay, if you allow me like 2 minutes, or 3 minutes, let me be exact, I want to swing around and get close to those lions and find out what they're doing right there. What a way to start the year. Look, you might have to remind me the name of the viewer who was asking, hopefully we're going to finish the year in style. Crop or Cash or something, I can't remember, of that viewer, and she should know, or he should know, we have really ended our last morning of 2018 in style. Crawfish Trash, I hope you're still there, and I want to thank you for your comments, because Crawfish Trash, your comments have brought me some very good luck, very good omen from you. You said that we're going to finish our morning of 2018 in style, and yes, we have. I want to thank you very much for that. So, just to pay you back for wishing me a nice way to end the morning of 2018 nicely, I want to give you this spread of lions, so hopefully you're going to take some wonderful screenshots of these lions here. So we're going to do one little turn to the right so that we can have the best view. Okay, how is that, Bungay? Good? Excellent. What a way to start. So Ricochet, I hope you're still there. And we're going to be finding out how many they are. I'm trying to count them now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are about 10 or 11 of them. 10 or 11. And apparently they're in the middle of the road. So what they've done, they have given me a clear roadblock there, which is not bad. And for those of you who could be joining us now, we're in the Mara Triangle in Kenya, and we're coming to you live. And this is the Olala Pride. We have always requested you when you can. Should you have any comments or questions, please send them through using hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. And this, I think, is one of the best mornings because it barely took me 5 minutes from when I started looking at my spotlight, when I started the safari this morning, to spot these beautiful cats of the Mara. When they're together, they are always 16, so we got 11 now, so 5 would be somewhere. And most of these are youngsters. I can see 1 or 2 fully grown females, but most of these are young ones. And the young ones, apparently, majority of them are males. So if you look carefully, like the one on the left, bottom left of the screen, you can see it got some mane. The other one there, they got spotted mane popping out. So we got 7 males in this particular pride. So one thing they've been doing since the migration left. When I talk about the migration, I'm talking about the wildebeest. Oop, that's a very good stretch. Nice. How does your backbone feel with that stretch? Then sometimes when they stretch that way, they'll pop up their back in the other way. And I'm sure that just adjusts their vertebrae bones. You'll give it another stretch. So the Olalalas, what they have been doing now since the migration left, the wildebeest and the zebras, they've been hunting big game because for a number as big as this, they also definitely need a big prey. So for them to bring down a buffalo is just a piece of cake because a small little animal like an antelope is pretty small for them. So they need big game. So where are the rest of your friends? Child of the universe. Now, there's one commonality. You'd like to know why we see 11 and 16. There's one commonality, child of the universe, in this particular 11. They're ideally the same age. They're ideally the same age group. You know, I remember when we were young boys in the village, and we could go out either playing football or going to small little township to visit. If you'd look out at the crowd or the grouping of people, you'd notice people of the same age would be together. And of course, could be the same case, I'm not sure, child of the universe, where you come from. And you see girls and boys of the same age together, men and women of the same age together, because we have differences, we have commonalities, we got little jokes that we share of the same age group. So you're not maybe imagining a man of 80 years sharing a small little joke with a small little boy, you know. They'll not have much in common. Maybe the only commonality is when they're having a meal, you know. But boys of 15, they have same games they play. Men of 80, their stories they talk. You know, when I was a young boy, I used to do this, I used to look for, you know. Yeah, stuff like that. That's my only guess. And it could be the same case for these lions here. So they're more or less the same age, and they tend to hang together. Bungei, did we go in color? Fantastic. And Bungei thinks he has done a good judgment, and he thinks the lions should look the way they look. It was not that black and white business of IR. Now we are in the true natural colors of these beautiful cats. How beautiful is that? And one of them, that particular one, is facing in the direction of the sunrise. Maybe just like me, who would know what is going on in his mind. Bet you'd like to know when these pairs will be kicked out of the pride. They're just about to get to 2 years, and 2.5 will be a good age for them to leave, maximum 3 years. And what will happen if they do not leave? We got a coalition of males that lives around here, which is standard or all male coalitions all over Africa. They'll come forcibly inject them out of the pride. And again, that helps to avoid what we call inbreeding. Is that having a drink there, or what is she doing there? I'm not sure. And also that also helps or makes sure it avoids them from mating with their mothers or with their first cousins. So 2.5 going to 3 years is the right age for all these boys to go out and have their own life and maybe get their own wives. What I've been thinking is there are 7 youngsters here. James, very good morning. And you would like to know whether it's common to see so many males in a pride. And you just got those words out of my mouth when I was talking or saying we got 7 males here. What happens is this particular pride is huge, and it happened they got so many males than I would say than females. There's another pride of lions that I follow here in the Mara, which is another favorite lion of mine. I would say favorite group that is called the Sausage Tree Pride. In that particular pride, there are 5 females, and there were 4 cubs until they lost one the other day, so there are 3. Apparently, those 3 males, or those 3 little cubs, they are all males. Now, in this particular pride, there are 7 youngsters, and they are all male. So it depends, of course, as we have always said, how chromosomes pair. X and X, X and Y. X is for girls, XY for boys. So this particular pride also, like the sausages, have so many males to them. Of course, it always depends on the pride. But we've got 7 youngsters here. And I'm looking at maybe mid of next year, going to the end of next year. Chances are they'll have left the pride. And if they do, they're going to form a formidable, I would say male coalition, because chances are they're going to remain together. Currently here in this area where we are, that we call the Ololo area of the Ololo territory, there are 3 males that have been reigning here for a long time, and we call them the Kichwa males. I highly doubt the 7 males here are going to join those 3 because they're a little old. These guys are young, and what they'll want to do is to share their own genes with, of course, other females around here, because we got other prides in this area, and I'm very excited to have my last morning of 2018 in this style. Now, Stivovo, you got a job to do, and let us know what you're up to.
The Duke of Juma, ladies and gentlemen, is back on the property. Now, what is so amazing is that this is the drainage system that Sydney had Hosana 2 mornings ago, and then that afternoon Hukumuri was moving through. And look who is right in the same area, no doubt investigating the smells. And well, I didn't hear any calling last night, but in my room I do have a fan, so it's difficult really to hear what's going on. But here he is, right in the heart of Juma once again. Where have you been, sir? He's got an unmistakable face, and the aging Duke. And look at the size of that neck. If you spent time with me with the Sana yesterday, you'll know how much smaller the sun still is. So just 1 second, I'm just going to talk to somebody. Okay, Aubrey's got my view now. Okay. Now everyone's going to go crazy because we found a leopard in the morning, everybody. So, well, now they're quite excited. And who does not want to see the Duke of Juma in his domain? And it's a good sign that he's back. He has responded to the challenge laid down by Hukumuri, and he has obviously come back and done some scent marking. We heard some alarm calls not long ago, and we were investigating them. And, well, Davisito, with his eagle eyes, managed to spot him. Yeah, Orbs is just on the left side of this big termite mound here, sort of right to that big dead tree. Sorry about that, Lukey. I was just getting Aubrey in here. We're going to reposition ourselves so as to get a better view of Tingana. Great way to start the morning. Okay, how are we going to get through here? Sito. Gator, he does certainly deserve to be called sir. Well, hold on. We are going across this little drainage line here. What do you reckon, Darby? It is quite steep. It is quite steep. I have been in here before on foot many times. Okay, well, while we get across here to Tingana, the Duke himself, back up in the Mara, David is with the Olololo Pride. Let's see what they're going to...
Very good, Steve. Very well done. I'm not sure how to compare Steve's sighting and my sighting. Well, I got about 11 lions here, but I think Tingana by himself beats all these lions. I don't know. I always think it's such a precious gift of sighting to see a leopard, even if it's a baby like Talalamba. But well, let me talk about my lions, which I think I'm making my end of the year look good. In the background there, if you look, there's an escarpment, and that escarpment, whoop, with a yawn there, that escarpment is called the Olololo escarpment. And we are almost doing the first verse of a song between me and Bungay of Olololo. And that escarpment you see there, that's where we live. We have a camp there. And also there's another beautiful lodge there called Angama Lodge. And this particular pride of lions was named after that escarpment. If anybody would remember having watched the movie Out of Africa, or you get time to watch it, you'll definitely see that particular set. It featured very prominently in that movie. Actually, right below that escarpment, in that green bush you see there, we have given that area a nickname, and we call it Out of Africa. Family, good question. What do we do when we get a roadblock like this from the lions? Ideally, we believe and we say the animals have the right of way, including these lions. So we'll always stay here until they leave. We have no two ways about it. But of course, if we need to go to the other side, we have to do a detour. We have to deviate, look for a nice area to go through without hurting so much vegetation, go around them and keep going. But ideally, our rule and discipline is not to try and push them or get them out of the way. It's exactly what we do, because we need to see them every other day, and I'm about 10-15 meters from where they are. Yeah, 10-15 meters. The moment you show them some kind of care, some kind of love, you may use that word, they tend also to cooperate. Otherwise, if you always become pushy to them, anytime we see them, they'll always go back away. Well, I'm trying to imagine the price or the value of my 11.
Indeed, you could confuse him. Oh, he's got blood on his neck. You see that, Darby? So, well, where he's been, we do not know. If we could track him and get all the stories in the sand to find out exactly what he's been up to. But I have no doubt he found one of the scent trails that Hukumuri laid down, and he has been walking vigilantly, trying to re-scent mark and reclaim everything that has kind of been scent marked over. It's kind of like that, a game of chess, if you will. You attack and then you defend, and you attack and you defend. But Hukumuri laid down a scent trail after the rainfall, and where Tingana has been is hard to say. But he would walk and follow exactly where Hukumuri had scent marked and scratched, and he would have covered his scent on top of that, which is an immediate defiant response back to the challenge. I wouldn't be surprised if we heard him calling, but we didn't hear anything this morning. I think maybe he's just a little bit hungry. He's looking straight through us. It's because on the other side of the drainage we've come down into is that big herd of wildebeest, or of impala, and the zebra and the wildebeest we started the show off with. So we saw them all acting all sort of jumpy and all over the place, and then we heard some alarm calls further down, and as always the alarm calls rang true. And well done, Dave, for spotting him as we drove past. Definitely is a huge benefit for having someone like Dave on the back, a cam up. He's a little bit taller in the back seat, to be able to spot a cat. Well, Tingana couldn't leave without, well, we had to see him one more time in 2018. He's gone through so many trials and tribulations this year, and well, what would you do without another glimpse of him for the year? Some people will be celebrating their New Year's before this evening show, so we're glad we could get him for you. And those of you who are only celebrating your New Year's tomorrow morning, well, you could probably get another chance to get him this evening and tomorrow as well. Who knows? No doubt Tingana will be around. James Richards says it's a National Bacon Day in the States. Hopefully he'll get a warthog to celebrate. Well, indeed, he might do that. He is well known for catching his warthogs. And wouldn't that be a wonderful way to end the year, having someone like Tingana making a kill for us and providing for everybody some marvelous views. Not so marvelous for the animal that gets caught, but, well, we know that the Duke, to maintain his strength, is going to need to catch an abundance of food. But, well, I saw him a few days ago, but before seeing him and now spending time with Hosani yesterday, it is really obvious to see the size difference, just in the thickness of the neck. You see that neck is, I mean, his jaw doesn't even... The neck is thicker than the face. Look at that. Hosana's kind of quite sort of level there, where the neck is as thick as the head still. Whereas this aging Duke, regardless of his age, is still looking in fiercely fine condition. Hello, Param. You want to know at what age he will stop scent marking? Well, he is in his 13th year. He still is doing it. So essentially, if he gets out-competed or pushed away from his territory, invariably he will become a nomad and will move off in search of just an area just to sort of hang out in, to kind of just keep going and to keep feeding. And by scent marking, he's advertising his presence and is obviously going to incur some form of challenge. So what might happen is his territory might just get smaller and smaller, which is what we saw this year, where he wasn't doing so well for a period of time. We saw the territory just get smaller because obviously he couldn't patrol the entire thing. So I don't think, unless he gets killed, I think he'll still scent mark and still call and still announce himself, or maybe fall into sort of the very nomadic lifestyle of Mvula, who I only saw a few times, but never saw him scent marking. So maybe they get to a really retired stage and they decide, well, let me save my moisture and not scent mark. It's a good question. The thing is once a male lion or leopard lose their territory, they invariably have nothing. So they will hold on to it with the last of their existence. Invariably can lead to their demise if they hold on in a battle that they cannot win. So who knows? We will spend time with him, we will document it, and we will see exactly when the Duke hands down his title. But for now, 2018 has been the year of the Duke. And we will be doing our last Safari Lives for the year as well. This afternoon Safari. And well, we're going to be catching you all up on a year that has been absolutely fantastic. I've been here since the 2nd of January, so almost a year now. I can't believe it. Okay, well, it seems like Sydney, after me finding Tingana, decided to move off in an area I was thinking of searching, but I'm not sure what he's found. Should we go have a look?
You know the meaning of this. I've got a very beautiful morning. I've got a very big lion there, you can see. This lion is pretty much relaxed. I have been following the tracks until we found him. And he's just all by himself. The tracks are not showing any other companion. So this lion has been roaring last night because we heard quite a lot of lion roar all night long until early this morning. Look at that mane. Eyes of this lion. Good morning, all stations. This is Sydney. I've got one Avoca male here by the Chela pen. So I'm just trying to inform the other stations about this lion at the moment. So you can see that it's time for this lion to groom itself, and what I'm going to do is that I see that he's looking the other direction. I want us to see this lion nicely. I'm just going to go around to the other side. And maybe this is the last Avoca sighting of 2018. So I think we are closing down 2018 with very beautiful sightings. So here where I'm driving now, there is one of the medicinal plants. I can smell it. It's called wild anise. So this plant is now secreting quite a lot of scent here, which is more like Vicks. So this is going to disturb my sense of smell in order to detect these animals. So now we are going to see the Avoca nicely, nice and clear. Look at that. This is beautiful. You can even see the weather on the background, that it is overcast at the moment. So this lion is looking very big. You can see when he's turning the head, the hairs, that it's not just about the exaggeration of the body. The size of this lion is quite very big. So lions can be very much territorial, and they've got to patrol their territories every time. And now I think it's tough for them because it has been raining a lot on the past couple of weeks, and this rain always washes away the scent marks. Scent marks can be kept by these trees for quite a while. It can take up to a maximum of 3 months for them still communicate, make use of the same scent which has been left behind a long time ago. So when he's doing like that, you must remember that the tongue of these cats is very coarse, and when they are licking themselves like this, they also pick up some of the dead material or the dead hairs, and these dead hairs, because of the bulbs inside the tongue, they get ingested and develop the hairballs in the stomach, meaning that after a while they must have to find a way to try and get rid of these hairballs. Lions, when they are feeding, oh, look at that. So when they are feeding, they also cough some of these hairs. Aiden, lions are predators. And predators are the animals who depend on hunting. They are born to kill animals. And they are obligate carnivores. So these animals only eat meat. Yes, sometimes, don't get surprised, they do eat grass. When eating grass, you must know they just want to clean or get rid of the parasite. So it's a carnivore. They normally target an animal which is up to 550 kilograms. 550 kilograms is a very good sized animal in order to accommodate everybody by their price. But when it's a solitary male like this, he can also go for small animals, including the scrub hares. But if it's a pride, because lions, they have got two completely different social structures. They've got coalitions, which is just a group of all males together, and they have got the prides. Prides are consisted of the females together with their little ones. Sometimes you'll see the male escorting at this prize, not very often, coming and going. So while I am waiting to see what is going to happen here, I'm going to send you to more lions in the Masai Mara with David, who are on the move.
Well done, Sydney. Male lions, they are vocas. I'm not sure that he said there are 3, but they are vocas. I remember when I was in Juma, I used to see 3 males. Well, my honorables have decided to go and have a little stretch in the morning, and I also thought I'm going to follow them and find out where they want to go. So the whole pride of 11 is up and about, and what I want to do is try and position myself in a particular place where I can see them walking towards us. How does that sound? So I'm going to be doing a bit of off-road here, which is allowed. The thing we do, you can off-road and just keep the same track. All of you don't have to create so many tracks. So if one person, creates or enters off-road in a particular area, all of you tend to keep there. And that way we have very good sustainability of our environment. So if you see them how they're walking, I want to give you first a little snippet here before I leapfrog in the front, and Bungay just show them how they're walking from behind, because after a few minutes I want us to go in the front and see them coming towards us. But look, that glorious light of the Mara Triangle in the morning, and this pride just walking on the road. They're on the road themselves, and we are, I am in the grass, or I'm off-roading just to make sure I do not get close to them, and nobody else is. Everybody's just behaving, and they're going towards Ololo Escarpment. Child of the Universe, I would say a few could be related, but in general they are not, because they got huge territories, Child of the Universe, and also the males are, or the male coalitions also are different. So it's very difficult. What would happen is, unless, for example, Child of the Universe, a pride like this, say of 11 or 16, when together, splits into 2, and then of course they'll definitely get the same coalition of males around here. That way we can say they are related. But what would happen, there's so many male coalitions here that will avoid inbreeding. But again, saying they are related is a possibility. For example, there is the marsh pride, and there is what we call the marsh breakaway. So they used to be together, and at one point they went separate ways. Again, simply because of resources. If they have fewer resources, they tend to go in different directions. So that's one of the reasons why they'll break away. I don't see this one going by the end of 2019 still together. So Child of the Universe, I see them splitting, mainly because with 7 males here, they'll be leaving to form their own coalition. Now let's go back to Stivovo, who got the spotted cats.
We do indeed have the spotted cat of the hour, Tingana. And well, he is magnificent. We were just discussing after that last conversation about when do you think he'll stop scent marking. I wonder if anyone out there maybe knows, is there an age? Is there a sort of a time when a male leopard would stop scent marking? Did I get it right, or is there something else to add to the story? Send through your comments to that on #SafariLive. It is your last morning of the old year to get these questions in, or just drop them on the these comments in, drop them on the YouTube chat stream. And we were thinking, he's looking in such fine condition. But what can happen with an aging animal like a leopard is just one small incident, maybe falling out of a tree or being kicked by an animal, a horn, a tusk, whatever it might be, could lead to their demise. Because as we know, the older we are, the slower we take to heal, the harder it seems to get out of bed in the morning. When we're young, we bounce around or bounce back from all sorts of ailments and injuries. And watching the Duke this year bounce back from the injury and ailment he had is fantastic to see. And while it is a very nice cool morning here in the Sabi Sands, we are joined by other vehicles that are obviously very excited to be here as well to see Tingana. And well, we're not far from Camberwell, we're about maybe 300 meters. So, okay, now we're going to see if we can follow him. This is always going to be the fun part Okay, well, while we try and catch up with Tingana, let's go and see how Sydney is getting along with the Avoca male.
So you can see that the Avoca male now is enjoying his peaceful sleep. I can see that he's looking very tired. And according to the tracks, he has been patrolling this whole area. We saw the other two coalition members a few days ago, somewhere by the Pafalsuk line. He was not there. This one is the one who is roaming around here a lot. And I'm sure this is the one who was spotted earlier attacking the Juma clan. This is the one who was fighting Koki when I was on a sighting some few months ago. So by looking at him, I can tell that. This is the lion, yes, which attacked Koki. I have witnessed that sighting. He's the one who is not usually working together with the other coalition members. So yesterday the Juma clan had something in the morning. They were feeding on a bush buck. So he got here today. And his tracks, we followed them all the way from around that den area. But it was not coming from the new den, coming from the old den area. So maybe he was thinking about the easy meal he got last time when he visited this area. So you can see this, the stomach is looking very empty. This is such a very big animal, so that stomach doesn't have a lot. So big male like these, they also sometimes try to catch. And normally, males depend on the females during hunting. So when they are together with the pride is when you will see if there is a big animal such as buffalo to take down. Their strength is when it's needed. You will see them helping to take that animal down. But normally they just come to eat after the females has executed the hunt. There's quite a lot of impalas ratting at the moment in this area, chasing each other. I can hear them very far towards the Twins Dam. Minamu, the lions don't only roar at night. They can roar during the morning, but mostly it's happening during the night, correct? So lions' reason for them to roar is to advertise their presence in their territory. As I indicated earlier, these are very much territorial animals, and they use the roar in order to advertise their presence and also in order to let the other coalition or pride members about their whereabouts. When they're looking for each other, they can easily communicate through a roar. This roar can travel kilometers, up to approximately 10 kilometers. They can be able to hear each other. So sometimes you will hear them roaring while he's lying down like this. So now let's quickly go back to Steve. Steve also got one of the male who got disappeared for a while now, Tingana. Same like this Avoca.
Well, indeed, this is the reigning Duke, and the Evokers are trying to stake claim to Juma. There still seems to be some contentious issues because, well, you don't often find them really taking over in the area. They do have access to it at the moment because we haven't seen the Birmingham boys in a very long time. There we go. Tingana's pulling his favorite nap trick. And so to see the one Avoca male, we had hoped to find all three at some point calling themselves off into the distance. And, well, I think they have really claimed Buffelshoek, which is north of Juma. We hear lions calling there all the time. But no doubt the lion is moving for the prey animals. That herd of zebra has come in. There's a couple of wildebeest. So lions, as we know, the unkahumas are always following around the prey animals. Not necessarily the impala, although they will eat impala if they can. They desire something a little bit bigger. So that is why we have such a nice density of leopard in the area, due to the abundance of small prey like the impala. And while he's staring off into the distance at the wildebeest and impala, hoping for them to come a bit closer, because, well, during the night time, the impala, wildebeest and zebra were out in the open plains for safety, and slowly some of them will move into these thickets for feeding, and that is where the leopard will stay and wait. He won't be able to go out into that open area and catch anything. It would be almost impossible. As stealthy and spotted as he is, he requires some form of cover so as to ambush his prey. And this is very common behavior for a leopard, even when they are hunting, even when they are waiting on a termite mound for a warthog to pop out. As we saw with Hosana yesterday, they go through those bouts of slumber. Catnap, constantly maintaining energy, saving energy, conserving it. Dave was really hoping when we spotted Tingana out here, he thought, he hoped it was Hukumuri, but we just framed on the camera very briefly before moving in, and you just got that instinctive, I got that instant sort of thought of that long face. His fur is a bit paler than that of Hosana, so it's almost like he's been washed in the washing machine one too many times. But it makes sense that Hukumuri was here, chased Hosana away, we believe, and now the Duke is exactly in the same place, and well, maybe he's hoping Hukumuri will turn up. Hello, Carol. You want to know how far away the Avoca male is from us? 2 kilometers, maybe, so about a mile. Not that far. Tingana's not too bothered by male lions. He is very wary of them, of course, but we've seen him many times sort of approach the males and then see them coming and be like, okay, well, lots of escape routes for me. This is his area, after all. He knows it intimately. I'd love to know what's going on in his mind. I can't see what he's looking at anymore, but before we moved to this position, we did see the wildebeest in the open. But thankfully, he was not in this position when we drove past, because I don't think we would have spotted him, although we were looking quite definitely into the bushes due to the fact we had those impala alarm calling. How many times have the antelope assisted us in finding the cats? Incredibly, so many times. And well, it is a cat day after all. Last day of the year, and we are providing the characters that you all know and love. We'll obviously have to get Hosana on frame at some point, because he is the life of the party.
That should call cat day, because we got Tingana, we got one of the Avoca males, and we got 11 of the Olorolos. I mean, I do not know whether we could end the year in such a beautiful style of cats. And maybe we might agree with all the other 2 boys in South Africa. Today we only deal with cats. From here, maybe we go look for cheetahs, anything that is cattish to a savo cat, and we avoid the big herbivores, which is practically impossible. You're not going to miss an elephant. Even when you close your eyes, chances are you'll definitely bump into one, or the big mammals like buffaloes. Now, these youngsters here, you can see, for example, that one still got spots as he's maturing, getting bigger, and those spots at one point they're going to fade. Nothing compared to the spots on the Duke of Juma. I'm talking about Tingana, where the leopards and cheetahs will keep the spots all their life. But lions, as they grow older, as they mature, those spots disappear or fade out. Now, the Olololos moved from where they were, and they have positioned themselves on that particular small mound, and they're just enjoying the view of the Mara. Ideally, what I think they would be doing, they're looking for a possibility of breakfast. Lions will always take the time. They are never in a rush. They first look, and before they go for would-be predator, they have to be very sure that they can bring it down. What are you looking for? Or what are you looking at? in that particular pride, I think I've seen 2 fully grown females, and definitely with their experience, they're the ones that will be giving directions to the youngsters. They have a lot to learn from the old ones because of experience. These ones have been here longer, lots of hunts they've done. It's like good question there. What has happened is there was a little bit of a mixture of names, and depending on where we are, because the Angama Lodge is just next door to where we are. I'm looking at about 3 kilometers from where I am. So Angama Pride and the Olololo Pride is one and the same. They're one and the same. So when you see the Olololos, you have seen the Angama, or when you see the Angamas, you have seen the Ololos. You have been just trying to settle down on which particular name to call them, but I think it has been agreed now universally we call them the Olololos, but it's one and the same pride. So there's 3 mouths there, each facing a different direction. Lee, how far away the sausage pride from here? We are looking at about 30 kilometers, 20 miles odds from here. It's quite a distance. Yeah, 20 miles from here. I was with the pride yesterday, and they tried on a few occasions to hunt warthog. They were not very lucky. They first tried one warthog, then tried 2 more. So I'm looking at 20 miles plus from where I am. So this all lions in general will have territories, and this one particular territory is for the Olololos, and they make sure no other pride that comes around here. Same case to the sausages. Sausages are not many. The females are 5. They got now 3 cubs there, but regardless of the number being small, I have seen them or have known them to be very defensive of their territory. I mean, they do not take any chances, and they deal with any pride that comes close to them. Occasionally we have seen some, nomadic males coming from Serengeti, because the sausage territory area, it's very close to the boundary between Kenya and Tanzania. So once in a while we have seen some, nomadic males coming through and some trying to mate with them. But there's a coalition of males there that is led by a dominant male called Kipuli, who we have not seen for some time. They'll always fight back. Kalsik, good morning, and I'm saying Happy New Year. I'm sure we might catch up again later. But you're saying from the other side of this campment, are there any prides? No, there are no other prides. But I'll let you know, Kalsik, this pride you see here, once in a while, they'll always come there. The other day, they came very close to a camp, and they brought down a zebra. Ideally, the other side of this campment, Kalsik, we got villages, we got people, and, a game reserve is different from a national park. A game reserve allows a bit of a human habitation, so you get the local people that you call the Maasai living in that area. And once in a while, these lions have been known when things are very tight for them. When it's really green time or green season, they've been known even to go for the Maasai cows. So they'll always come once in a while, but come early morning, they are always back down here in the game reserve. In national parks, they make sure, or they do not allow people next to the reserve areas, because the national parks, they don't want to take any chances. Hello there. You need to do something for yourself this morning to end the year in style. Meanwhile, let's go back to Sydney and find out what the Vokers could be up to.
The Avoca is just very much relaxed at the moment. We are just about a few meters, maybe 45 meters away from the Chela Pen. There is quite a lot of water here, and behind me there is quite a lot of guari bushes. The weather is perfect for the Avoca to travel long distances. Possibilities are very high that Avoca male sleeps here for quite some time today. As usual, lions, they can be able to sleep for approximately 18 hours. That is quite a lot. So chances are very high. But because of this overcast, maybe instead of lying down here for a long time, this Avoca might move on. And moving on, possibilities of seeing him in the afternoon, they are very slim, because We are not far away from the neighboring properties. Yeah, the one with the darker male, I saw him a few days ago, and that one is not the one who I think attacked Koki, because that one is always together with the brother. This is the one who is normally separated away from them. So this one, I can guarantee you, is the one who caused the chaos by the Juma den. So now you can see the mane there, nice, and you can see the dark color of the mane. So just look at this lion nicely. Let's wait until he wakes up. On the move, you will see that this is the one who caused the problem. It's just that it's not easy to see where he was also attacked by Koki. I'm sure as well he must be having some of the markings, because that day it was not an attack, it was a fight. So Koki stood their ground as a matriarch and tried to fight this very big cat. You can see that the rank of a matriarch, it comes with a huge responsibility. Melissa, these animals, if you check, cats, when they're sleeping, if you look at some of the parts such as the ears, look now, he's dreaming. You can see he's dreaming. But the ears, you can see that the ears, they swivel all the time. These animals, they can just, you can see now, you see, the eyes are closed completely, but some of the body parts are still functioning. If I jump off this car now, he's going to retaliate, jump as if he was not lying down. These animals are not trustworthy and they are well gifted. So you can see that he is sleeping flat. Look at that now. You can see those paws. He has got some sheath which is hiding the claws in there. He brings out the claws when wanting to use them. But most of the cats, if you can check their claws, when they are still very young, they are not retractable. Until they reach a certain age is when they will start to put them in and out. When they are still young, they are just out there, not retractable at all. Yeah, I saw that movement, that he was catching something small, maybe a scrub hair. You can see this, look at this structure now. Look at this front foot. If you look at this kind of a paw, you will see that it's so hairy. These hairs are the ones which silence the noise when these animals are hunting. When these animals are walking on the ground, you cannot hear because the hairs contain the sound. You can see the muscles. It's a powerful, look at that, look at that. Can you see that he can just wake up straight away? See, he was on a deep sleep, but he just picked up something. He's looking at the chela pen. There's a pen nearby, as I indicated. Straight, the focus is at chela pen. Look at that binocular vision. You can see now that it's time for him to look around. We haven't seen him walking, but sometimes when he walks, you will see he does limp a little bit. Because of sleeping long hours on the surface here, lions, when they wake up, and sometimes leopards as well, you will see them limping. So now you are going to see that he's got a black mane. You can see the tip of the ears are much more white with the black. Those kind of birds we have just heard now, those are the francolins. The francolins are some of those species who does expose the presence of the predators. When they pick up the presence of the predators, they just keep making noise, and joined by some of the antelope predators when hunting, they give up then. You can see the tassel by the tail. That tassel as well, when these animals are born, they don't have them. They have to develop through some certain stages. You can see that is quite a lot of hairs there. And these hairs are also used. Oh, it's like he's listening to me. Oh, it looks like a snake now. So these kind of hairs, they use them as well for communication. So a tail can be used in order to showcase the internal mood of an animal. So when the females have good babies, they call each other from the tail. And when they're coordinating their hunts, they do that. Lions, they are not solitary and they are pursuit predators. They are cooperative hunters. So these are the animals who does not approach an animal until they launch a surprise. The territory can be something which can grow very big. If you can check at the moment here, I can promise avocas are dominating. We have seen that on several occasions. So they've got a very big territory. And they don't have a lot of competitors yet. We have seen the new pride entering Juma, and that pride has got about 6 young males, but they're still very young. Maybe the coalition going to be formed by those 6 young males is going to be the one competing with the avocas. But you can see they're aging as well. The time maybe those young males reach maturity is when the avocas will be retiring. Don't get surprised, I am not alone at the moment at the sighting. I am now joined by some of the vehicles. Let's quickly go over to Masai Mara.
Now, from the avocas to the elephants, and every time we are doing a show and you have kids on board, I like talking to the kids about the big 5 of Africa, and now we'll be talking of the big 3 at the moment, having seen the leopard Tingana with Steve, and lions with Sydney, and lions with David, and now the elephants. And that's the area where these elephants are. It tends to remain green all around the year. This is not the marsh area that we normally go. I'm sure all of you know the marsh area that has always been green, and you will always see elephants. Very rarely you'll go there and don't see a single elephant. But there's so many, there's some springs and wells here that have water all around the year, and we've found out anytime you come here, even during the very dry period, there'll be a little bit of a trickle of water and a bit of green. So ellies love this particular spot they are on, because they'll be able to feed and drink at the same time. There's small little calves there too, if you look carefully. And the contrast of green and the white tusks make it look so beautiful on this morning. On a closer look, you notice the donkey flapping their ears, because it is still pretty cool. When it gets hot, then that's when the ears get very busy. And I've always wondered how many muscles are on those ears, because they normally flap them, I think, 1,000 times or more in a day. Melissa, you say sweet babies. Thank you very much. And I think, Melissa, it's not a bad idea to see such sweet babies on the last day of 2018. What do you think, Melissa? Hopefully you get yourself some wonderful screenshots to keep, to be walking through 2018 and say memories, finishing with such small little early babies. There's one that's pretty small right in the middle there, Melissa. I hope you can catch it. Look at it. So tiny, so small baby there, which is normal. Elephants will always tend to put their calves in the middle. It's very colorful there, and I would guess the big one there could be the matriarch. Not necessarily so, but the matriarchs in general are, the big cows. So now you're talking about the grass. Now, look at the height of those elephants, and if you'd been here during the migration, this grass was much taller than it is now. But now what we have is short, and the greenness of it makes it look so colorful. There's nothing as good. I don't know, nobody has ever spotted a white or rather an albino elephant. I'm not sure I have seen any here. No, not in East Africa, not that I know of. But I'm trying to imagine if any of these elephants here would be an albino, and seeing the white, it could be something big contrast with the grass there. Very good. I'm staying here because I saw the Ololos going in a different direction, and where I've placed myself, chances are they might walk this way. Meanwhile, as I wait for them maybe to walk this way or to see where they will go, we'll go back to the Duke of Juma.
Well, thank you very much. We are with him still. He's done some scent marking. He's definitely on the prowl. He's moving around and having a deliberate look as he goes. So he's giving him some space. He's hugging sort of the thickets around Quarantine, hoping to maybe surprise some unsuspecting animal. Just going to get around him over here and see if we can maybe get towards the other side. He's coming right up to the bush braai site, which we know Rosanna has always been quite famous for just materializing at. But he scent marks a couple times but hasn't done any calling. So that's one of the sort of the assumptions that you think if a leopard wants to demarcate his territory without giving away his presence because he's hungry, you see, why want to shout and let all the animals know that you're there? The scent mark is sort of a trail that's left behind, and well, the calling is an immediate sort of shouting that other males will be able to hear, females as well. And often when females are in estrus and they want to attract a mate, they will go crazy with the calling until obviously the male decides to come and find her. Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to just move around again, Darby. That is the bush braai site that you see in the background there. Thankfully he's come out to that drainage line that we were in, because that is a very difficult one. Jessica, you know, a wildebeest can weigh 250, 300 kilograms, so 600 pounds at the most. And well, this male leopard here, Tingana, maybe used to weigh about 90. Maybe a male leopard could get up to close to 100. I'm not sure exactly how heavy Tingana is, but to be able to take down an animal the size of a wildebeest is not unheard of. Maybe a young one, or a calf, or sub-adults, most certainly. So it's not beyond them to do so. There's not as many wildebeest in the area, so from a statistical point of view, leopards are quite selective in their food source, and they want to catch something obviously that they will be able to catch, bring down and hoist. So they would make that calculated decision if they were impala to choose from versus wildebeest. Well, now he's going to go behind, of course. Then they'll most certainly choose the easier option, because obviously killing something that you then can't hoist is a little bit of a waste of energy, although they still will do it from time to time. But oh, here we go, his scent marking. I'm going to just turn. You're coming for a braai, Mr. Tingana. Oh, sorry, Darby. He is definitely into show business. I'm just going to turn like that. There he goes. Well, those of you who don't know what a braai is essentially a barbecue. So there's an outdoor sort of area here that you can come and have a bit of a barbecue. We might be having a little bit of a sundowner this evening over here, because as you know, it is New Year's Eve. As you know, it's New Year's Eve, and well, here is the nice place for fires. You don't burn down the area. How fantastic is this? Well, of course, Tingana and Hosanna would not go away and not get to see them for the New Year's. They're going to be popping up at our bush braai. See, they're already coming, going, oh, I'm coming. He's going to come with one of those little hats on and those little blowing things. What are those things? I don't know what it is with people and blowing those funny whistle things that come out. What are those things, Darby? Do you know what I'm talking about? It makes a silly noise, and it just... yeah, I do hate them. I do not like them. But anyway, I hope we don't have any of those. Okay, well, he's just hugging sort of the fringes of a sort of quarantine. It's a perfect leopard habitat. He doesn't want to be spotted. He obviously got spotted in the beginning before we found him. We'd seen some impala that had clearly spotted something. Maybe it wasn't him. By the fact that we found him not long afterwards makes us quite sure that it was him. But as you know out here, when there's one leopard, sometimes there's three. I've yet to be in a 3 leopard sighting on Djuma. I've been in a 4 leopard sighting once before at Singita in the Kruger Park, which was just insane. 4 leopards, 1 sighting. Anyway, I believe down where Sydney is, there is not only 1 male lion now. I believe there might even be 2.
So I am still here. I was trying to check around here to see if this avoca has got a brother here, but I haven't picked up any kind of convincing evidence that they are all together here. But here I saw it was not a clear sighting. Someone indicated the other one is somewhere behind the drainage. So we are still here waiting. Maybe he's going to wake up and take us to where the others are. When the lions are sleeping, they can spend hours and hours. So you will see this lion might sleep until we finish with the game drive at the same spot. So let's hope he's going to wake up, go and hunt. But he's looking hungry. I don't know why is he not going and look for something at the moment. And see how he's sleeping. Look at this mane. He is so sleepy today, but look at that man. Looks like hairs. He doesn't look like a mane anymore. This is fantastic. So predators such as lions and leopards, when you see them like this, you must know that they have been going through a lot. When these animals are still very young, they've got to be hidden deep in the dens, where sometimes they do get discovered by some of the predators, such as the wild dogs. So when a predator is big and protective like this, you must know that when he was young, he did pass through a vulnerable stage. Charlotte, normally the lions, they do go and sleep just under the trees. But today, because of the following, look at the weather. Because of this kind of a fantastic weather which is overcast, he doesn't have a problem to lie down right in the middle of an open space. But normally, you will see them deep in the thick bushes, sometimes by the drainage lines. So from the sleepy cat to the moving cat, let's quickly go back to Tingana. I heard Tingana is much more active at the moment.
Well, he is being very active. It is nice, cool morning. And, well, he's actually got his eyes on that small herd of wildebeest. There is an impala as well. So none of them seem to quite know what he's up to. But, oh, the baby's there. That is exactly what he would want to go for, folks. From an ease of catching, a baby wildebeest is much easier than an adult, but bearing in mind the youngsters are very, very quick. And you can also see how there's really large open spaces between him and them. You have to do a very good job of stalking, but they didn't call it leopard stalking for nothing. The leopard invented the leopard stalking, or the leopard crawl, and if anybody can do it, the Duke has got the experience, and this is the moments that determine or show or outshine the little chief, because the little chief, as good as he is still a fledgling when it comes to hunting. The Duke has got the patience and the know-how to be able to really wait this out and to see the opportunity, possibly to even wait for those animals to come a little bit closer. You can see the clock is ticking in his head, the cogs are moving. He's trying to figure out exactly what he's going to do. The baby wildebeest, very quick, but if he got close enough, it would be over. Hello, Steve. What a wonderful name. Happy New Year's to you. You want to know about the necklace that the leopards have? That is characteristic of leopards, yes. They're all different, but there is that characteristic line. What exactly it's for is hard to really surmise, but it kind of breaks out a little bit of the outline. It sort of changes the body shape in a way. When you look at a leopard from a distance, kind of gives them that necklace. But really, what is the actual purpose is, I'm not 100% sure, but it is a characteristic feature on leopards, but each one is slightly unique. Each leopard has got their own pearl necklace, which is of a different shape, size, and form. Look at, there's a shongololo next to him there, Davy, on the tree. How crazy. A millipede? Does it know that it is centimeters away from a giant male leopard? There we go. He's going to look at it, is he? On the bark of the marula tree. You see, the thing is a millipede is actually poisonous. It's got a form of cyanide inside its body. So I don't think we'd find Tingana snacking on it now, unless he wanted to have a psychedelic trip for New Year's Eve. Quite commonplace for the lemurs in Madagascar to take millipedes and actually to rub them, to irritate them and rub them on themselves. And while they ingest a little bit of the poison, it causes them to go through a serious psychosis trip. I don't think Tingana's in the mood for that right now. He's considering what is going to be his last meal of the year. And well, this time of year, the baby wildebeest are breeding, or the wildebeest are breeding. So you get a couple babies around. This herd, I remember having 7 youngsters last season, has only got 2. I'm not sure if it's the lack of breeding females in it. It might not even be the same herd. Who knows? They have come back to quarantine, an area that we had them most of the year. Hello, Snazzy. Lions, you reckon, have got good memory? Leopards, well, I'd say equivalently, lions and leopards, you know, an area that they're born in, an area they're familiar with regards to terrain, topography, water points. They learn, and so most certainly they will remember where they are. And I think a lot of it's got to do with familiarity through smell. I really don't know any more than that. We do know that lions, leopards will sort of hang out in similar areas. For example, Thandi breeding where she was reared as a youngster. So familiarity. There's a dacre sneaking behind us there. He's just gone into the bush. Just through, yeah, punch in there, Davy, and you'll get him behind the bush there. A little bit more left. Oh, sorry, I think we missed him. Sorry about that, but a dacre just coming around the back. Has Tingana spotted him? He looks like he's looking in that direction. A dacre would be quite an easy meal. Doesn't come with a big mummy to defend it. So most certainly memory with regards to area, smell and animal species. They kind of have a search image for them, and they know what they like and what is dangerous. But there's no more dangerous place than on the open plains of the Mara ecosystem.
Well, cats, I think, got pretty good memories, and they'll always know where they have seen dramas in their life or in one place. maybe they might have been traumatized by either elephants or similar big mammals or even buffaloes. The Olololos have decided to split into like 3 groups. There's that one little pride there, and then there's another youngster on its own to the right, that one you see there. And I do not know where the others went, but they entered in a little lager, kind of drainage, and they disappeared. But apparently all of them are looking in the same direction towards the Olololo escarpment. And I would want to believe they're just sunning themselves, because we have some wonderful sun at the moment. The sunlight feels pretty good. It's not very hot. It's very typical for cats to warm themselves up, and then as it gets much warmer, they'll be looking for some places with good shades to cool off, anywhere near water. But also above all, they'll have at least seen where there will be a possibility of getting some game later in the day. They would know now they are easily visible, and the prey would easily spot them from a distance. They tend to hunt more in the dark because the darkness will always hide them. They see better than the prey. So ideally, I think they just stay a little bit flat for me, and if they continue being flat, I'll give them a little break and do what I had promised earlier, to look for a rhino. So what would happen is, whoops, did I see a bird fly there? That tree has some birds, and I think they could be nesting there. I'm not sure they are swallows on that trunk to the right. I've been seeing birds coming in and out, and not sure whether they're nesting in there. Do they look like drongos? Or are they starlings? Well, they look like drongos. Let's see who they are. Yeah, they could be the drongos of some sort, or some anteater chart. I can't see very well from here. I think they could be the fork-tailed drongos. But the other one there is not the same. It's a little different. So there's a bird party going on there. And not sure if they're nesting or they're feeding on that particular tree. Everyone, what's my favorite sound of the Masai Mara? I would say my favorite sound of the Masai Mara is when I hear the lions roaring, and especially where we are. Then we got a particular coalition that we call the Kichwa males. The Kichwa males has 3 males, and one of them that we call Fang, because he is missing one tooth. Either when he roars, there's some funny sound, or the call comes out in a funny way from his mouth. But I've always loved those 3 males when they roar, and especially the Fang. That is not even close to what I hear. And where we leave the camp is not very far from the Olololo escarpment, and once, if these males would happen to be around this area, and they're trying to remark their territories, because once it rains, all the scent markings washed away, so they'll do a lot of scent marking again, but also they also roar very much at night. And should I hear, or should one of my friends, Bungay, whom I'm filming with today, hears the lions roaring, the first thing he'll ask me in the morning, did you hear your lions roaring? Now let's go to a vocus maybe and hear how they do it.
You can see that the avoca is now up and running. Is just lying down. It is better than just lying down. And I've just heard something here. I want to investigate. I heard the warthog giving kind of a distress call somewhere deep, much more in these bushes. So I just want to quickly see if I can find. Oh, here we've got a visitor. Senzo, let's show them. We've got a visitor. There's someone else here who just appeared now as a surprise. Look at that. So you can see that this lion is not alone here. So here comes another one. He just came out now from the bushes. Look at that. This one is looking very shy. So don't get surprised. As I indicated earlier that I am not alone by the sighting. And this is one of the vehicles enjoying a sighting with me. in order for us to see them both, I'm just going to pull forward a little bit so that we can cover both these two cats. So you can see that this is the Avoca coalition partner. He is now just resting there. So far we are seeing two. Maybe another one's going to come out as well. So they're all coming from this direction of the Muluguti. So normally the lions, they start to show the signs of growing the mane when they are older than 2 years. So that is when they're starting to build a level of aggression due to the increase in terms of the testosterone hormone. The testosterone hormone is a hormone which is responsible for the sexual desires. Carol, the boys, I haven't heard about them for quite a long time now, so I don't have any updates at the moment with regards to the Birmingham boys. He's trying to catch a fly. So you can see this kind of cats don't mind something small. If you look here on the face, there is something like a scar right there. These kind of animals, they do have something which is called a preorbital gland. A gland which is situated by the face where they scratch these trees and put it there for demarcation purposes. They don't only rely on this gland coming from their sheath. If you look, the urinary sheath also got some glands which helps when they're urinating. It helps in order to spread the scent. I can see that he doesn't want to even blink the eyes. Now he's doing it. So when the lions are closing the eyes, on top of the eyes they've got some markings which are more like false eyes. So now I want us to quickly go back to Tingana, but while doing that, I think it's better for me to go and investigate the warthog I have heard giving a distress call just now.
Well, their monkeys spotted him. They started calling. I can't do it this morning. He's busy scent marking here. So as soon as Tingana heard the shouts, he quickly skulked off. That's what leopards do. They don't like to be spotted. Predators, once they have lost their stealth, well, it's time to move on. And that's what we saw earlier when we heard impalas calling. We then found them a good probably 100 or 200 yards away from where they'd been alarm calling. So that's their best option, is if they want some food, they're going to need to move after the alarm call has been sounded. Otherwise, everybody's just on high alert, and well, it's not easy pickings when animals know you're there. The advantage that leopards and raptors and all of the sort of supreme predators have is surprise. So when surprise is on their side, they do very, very well. But walking through here, this is where the Dacre sort of snuck through, and well, he's walking on a nice game path. And well, we might be visiting Sydney in a little while, because if he keeps up on this trajectory, we might pop out around Chelapan. I don't think Tingana would like to pop out to see two big male lions, but he'll be wily enough to avoid them. Definitely be wily enough to avoid them. And well, we're just going to coast on down the hill here, following him as he goes. Very fresh leopard tracks over here. So when we track leopards, these game paths that you see here, this is what they walk across. So when you follow the game path, you often find the tracks of a male or female leopard as they walk, and that's exactly what it's doing. Just got to keep checking the paths If it's not on this one, then it'll be on that one. Leopards, lions, all animals really will use the path of least resistance to be able to move, especially when scent marking. A leopard that starts walking for scent marking will most certainly keep moving along a pathway so as to not only facilitate speed of movement but also silent movement. And they will use a game path to access an area as well when they're hunting, because it makes it quite stealthy. To walk through the thickets, well, can make a bit of noise. And so that's why when we find tracks on the road and they start moving down a path, we just keep checking a couple of them and you get the general direction he's going in. Obviously we know as we go around he'll be checking the termite mounds and getting a bit of elevation, something that all leopards we see do, not only to check are there any warthogs potentially looking to pop themselves out, but see, there's a termite mound, as I said. Is he going to get on top of it? So he's having a bit of a smell. Wind direction is very gently coming sort of across from the right hand side. So when the bushes are quite dense and quite thick, it's not that easy for leopards to spot things, especially considering the animals that are hidden in these areas are normally quite camouflaged and rely on standing very still to remain undetected. So obviously you can smell the animals, can follow their trail, and then they'll do the leopard stare, staring off, waiting for just a little flick of an ear, flick of a tail, the stamp of a foot to betray that animal's presence. You can see the intention on his face. A Minamu, a dog breed, I reckon would be somewhere around an Alsatian, a German Shepherd, with regards to sort of the size, shape, but the power, wow. There is a dog breed in South Africa called, what's it called again? Boerboel. Called a boerboel, which basically means I don't even know what it means, Davy. What does a boerboel mean? Anyway, they are enormous dogs, and I think from a weight and strength, well, a strength point of view, a boerboel would be the most similar in sort of strength to a leopard, but I still think a leopard would give a boerboel a hiding. Just because I should probably try and find you a picture. I think it's an exclusively South African dog. I might be mistaken, but by the name, boerboel is definitely an African dog, and it's a mixture of a couple. If you're not sure what it is, I might have to try and find a picture for you, but they're very playful, friendly dogs, but they are enormous and well known for being quite defensive of property and owners, and possibly even used in some form of hunting. I'm not sure. A dog breed in Africa, the Ridgeback, is very well known for lion hunting back in the day, and well, there's a very funny joke that goes behind that as well. But anyway, there he sits on the termite mound. Let's get into position and go back up to David.
Make sure, Stivovo, we don't lose Tingana, because we need to keep that boy. I'm not sure that he found out why he had some blood on the dewlap. I mean, we have seen leopards as they age, they get this huge dewlap. And I've always compared dewlaps in cats to the mammoths and found out it's only in some antelopes that you call the elands that have such huge dewlaps, and wondered what purposes the dewlaps serve. But I think for the antelopes that I'm calling the elands, the dewlaps come in very handy in terms of controlling the temperatures. They're like, they help in thermal regulation, especially in the very arid areas that are always very hot. This time I think I also could be looking for some elands today. I would just want this gentleman to pass, and then I'm gonna take my right. So if you go, I'll be able to turn here. Very good. I'm sure they're going to see the lions, which we were just watching, and they're like, lions, lions, where are lions, you know? So interesting how we all take different routes here in the bush. I might decide to leave the camp, go this way. Another colleague said, no, I think this route has a better luck than the other. But then we always find out, well, I think your route was better than mine. You better turn around and come. So I had seen that particular fellow early in the morning and joked with him and his guest. And I told him, you know, come with us, we're going to get you some lions, you know, as a joke. And this about an hour ago. And they went a long, long way, but now they're coming back. Hopefully they will see them. Beautiful temperatures now. I'm sure it has warmed up than when we started. And I want to go look for what I'd promised earlier. I was talking about looking for rhino, and the direction I'm going is one particular area we have seen the black rhinos. This particular road was impassable, I would say, 2 weeks ago. When it rained, it was covered with water, and you can see the kind of ruts I'm just about to go through. The type of soil we get in the Mara, in general, of course, there are different types of soil. The main one is the black cotton soil, and when it rains, it gets very sticky and very soft. So when you got a heavy car like this and you drive over it, the car just sinks. And when you try to get yourself out and you keep, you know, spinning your tires, you even sink more. So there are areas that have been avoided, so I thought I'm going to try areas or routes we have been using and nobody using them of late and see how they look like. Alright, rhinos, where could you be? I might also change, I say look for the rhinos, look for some small little birds. I see either some bird or some sort of mongoose on top of all the little francolins there. Yes, in the Mara we got black rhinos, and the black rhinos are the ones that are native to the Mara. We also got the white rhinos, but the white rhinos were introduced here from South Africa. They are not native here. And I think looking on the IUCN red list, the black rhinos are quite endangered at the moment. So we're going to avoid that one particular area there, which is a bit tricky. So the roads still haven't dried up completely. Or what is tend to see from a distance here are elephants. Elephants you'll never miss, but should you see a black rhino, for example, in an open area like this, it will be definitely on the move, because black rhinos are browsers, so they'll go either picking small little plants or bushes or herbs as they move on towards the thickets. Unlike elephants, that will be feeding on everything they find on the way. The areas like, for example, in Lake Nakuru, where I come from, if you look on the Kenyan map, you can see some area called Lake Nakuru. In that area we got both black and white rhinos, and on good days you tend to see more white rhinos than black rhinos, because the white rhinos are grazers, and more often than not they're always out in the open, unlike the black ones. The black ones are also a little bit shy. So you're gonna keep moving and get the thickets. We're thinking I can cruise and chance for a rhino. Now Tingana is walking about.
Well, he has moved a fair bit, Gigi, but he's now stopped. He's trying to find where maybe this Dacre that moved through has disappeared to. But I think Gigi is trying to get all of you a big 5 drive with the rhino. We've definitely got the lion. We've got the leopard. I'm sure Gigi will be able to find elephant and buffalo up there without any problem. And, well, if he gets the black rhino, that will top off a marvelous, marvelous New Year's Eve. Tingana is still moving in sort of the exact trajectory of Chelapan, where Sydney is with those lines. We're still a fair way away. still hasn't made a sound. He has continued to scent mark. Have a look at how those spots really do blend in with the background. If he wasn't moving, it'd be quite tough to see. I followed Hosanna through this a few days ago in the opposite direction. I wonder if he's going to go and say hello to his son. That would be a marvelous sort of reunion for New Year's, wouldn't it? I had them on my interview drive. I've had them many times together. And, well, wouldn't a lovely New Year's celebration be complete with the Duke and his little boisterous, or not so little anymore, boisterous son? Minamu, I don't think the dewlap itself shrinks. It's basically a big fold of skin. But the sort of the fatty layer or the muscle that's inside there most certainly will sort of disappear to a degree. He's going to go to this termite mound, I reckon, Darby. Let's get up ahead there. It's just like old skin, and then it just loses a little bit of maybe form or what's the word? Structure. Oh, I'm not sure. But we saw Mvula, when Mvula was in his last days, he definitely still had quite a big neck, quite a big dewlap. He just lost quite a lot of weight on his body. So no doubt the dewlap will lose some of its weight, but the skin itself is going to be stretched. It's going to be quite large. He's going to poke his head around the corner here. There he comes. He loves termite mounds, Tingana. And with his very keen sense of smell, he'd be able to know if there was a warthog inside some of the holes or not. There we go. He's doing his quick little scent mark spray. You know, I think he might also be quite wary as well. And not only looking for food, but he might know that Hukumuri was around. Obviously, I have no doubt he knows he was around. And so he might actually be also keeping a watchful eye for maybe a male leopard to materialize out of somewhere. Maybe after smelling Hukumuri's scent, he might not be as keen to fight him as he once was. Maybe they're going to demarcate territories apart from each other. I mean, Hukumuri did walk further that way past Vuyatela Pan, which we've well known to be the domain of the Duke, and the Duke is keeping well sort of south of that. We saw that happen over this year, where Hukumuri seemed to move around Galago and Vuyatela Pans, keeping sort of a more sort of western sort of side of Djuma, northwest, and Tingana kind of moved to the south and the southeast. We kind of saw like a transition in the Moawati drainage where the territory kind of overlapped, and then the Duke came back into fine form, and, well, since then Hukumuri kind of just disappeared. Okay, well, I'm going to go back here. Okay, well, while we try and catch up. Oopsie, am I in a hole? I'm in a hole. Well, hopefully David's not in a hole, because if he was, he would probably get stuck.
Well, still moving on, and hopefully don't lose that cat, because it's very just can't watch around. And I've always said, any day you see a leopard, it's a great day. I mean, one area it's very open, and this area, to me, it tells me the big difference between Djuma and the Mara Triangle. What we wanted to do is to stop here and we enjoy this landscape that I call the Mara Triangle, or the Savannah of the Mara. It's so open, it's so vast, it's so huge, and we're gonna just pan and show you how it looks like. And this is one of the differences between Djuma and the Mara Triangle in terms of vegetation. This area is very open. I think Luke is saying this is just magnificent. Here we can always see all the way to the horizon. I remember one time I had to go to a very high place when I was in Djuma doing a drive to see the Dragon's Back Mountains. But here, whatever elevation you are on, you are able to see all the way. So this area was dotted by the wildebeest a few months ago. I'm talking about the migration, but now all of them, all the herds of wildebeest have gone south of Kenya to a country called Tanzania. There's a national park there called Serengeti, and come the next 2 months or so, or a month and a half, I would guess, they'll be dropping the young ones. When they live here, when they get to Kenya, they're always pregnant, and when they leave, they're just preparing to go to start calving. It's either the 2nd or the 3rd week of February every year. That's the only one time we say they'll always have a little stop on their migration or on their walk. Oops, sorry, Bungay. You see that little bird there? Were you showing me that little? Yeah, I think Bungay wanted to show me a spawing, and I might have missed it, but I just had it as we're just about to start driving away. And that's called a water spawing. There's some sort of spawing there. Are you watered? I need to see your yellow waters. If you don't have waters on any yellow waters, then you're not. Yes, correct. And that's the watered spawing. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great call. Either she or he is calling the mate. They said this is the watered lapwing. See the little white grass on top of the head, like a little crown. Very, very similar to the crowned lapwings. This one have yellow, just at the base of the beak. They tend to nest on the ground. They'll have the eggs on the ground, the chicks. So either she or he is calling the mate. Keep calling. I hope you can hear her or him calling. And they are basically water birds. Most lapwings, you'll see them near the water. Excellent. So, and see how there's so much dew on the ground there. Picked something to bite and then moved on. Well, the watered lapwing, keep eating. Hopefully gonna catch up with your male, or you're trying to protect your eggs or chicks somewhere on the ground. Let's go back to the avokas with Sydney.
I am now trying to see if we can find anything from where we heard a distress call of the warthog, but so far here is difficult. I am heading much more towards Treehouse Dam. I will go back to the avokas. They are very much relaxed, just like these warthogs the distress call was coming from. Maybe Hosanna caught something here, as he was last spotted in this area yesterday late afternoon. That is quite a very, very interesting question. Minamu, my favorite safari of 2018, it was my first day of a game drive here in Juma. What happened during that day, I never saw it happening anywhere. Whereby I went out and I met avokas, but before I met the 3 avokas, I saw Tandy. She was at the base of a stem of a marula tree. And then Tandy showed us the avokas. And the avokas started chasing the leopards. And at the same time, leopards also started chasing each other. We had 3 leopards, we had 3 avokas. All these 3 leopards, they were fighting amongst themselves, and the avokas were also wanting to get the leopards. That was the best sighting ever. My first game drive in Juma, it was the avokas fighting the leopards. And today, last day of 2018, again, I've got the avokas. So they are associated with my last game drive of training. So while I'm going towards the Twins Dam to see if the call is coming from, let's quickly go to Steve.
The branches and the vehicle. We've got the Duke probably going to come and have a little drink here. We're on the famous Ingwe Alley Road. Do apologize about the audio breakup from before, but here we have got the aging Duke doing a beautiful little pose, and look how muddy that water is. Not the nicest of water to be drinking. And look at the size of his feet. Very, very big paws. It's a nice cool day, but leopards will drink if they come past it. Lions will drink. Important to get in the moisture when the time arises. We can actually have a little listen. There's some go-away birds off to the right that aren't so happy with him, and we can hear him lapping up the water. Doesn't that look tasty? I mean, it doesn't seem to be the most efficient way of drinking, does it? You're just sticking your tongue in the water. I've seen slow motion. Oh, there the squirrel finally starts to shout. I've seen slow motion footage of dogs drinking, and actually when their tongue goes in, it somehow sucks the water up underneath it and through the back of the mouth. It's a really interesting strategy, and I'm going to assume that the same is for cats, but I don't know. Have you ever done any slow motion footage of cats drinking, Darby? Not slow enough to see it. I think it's easier with a dog. Dogs are easily, we've all got domestic dogs. Much easier to get a dog to drink some water than to and set up your camera than to try and set up a camera for Tingana to drink from. Well, very, very tricky. And this is what Luke says he looks like when he buys an ice cream. Just dabbing your tongue, Lukey. And on a hot day before, especially if you get one of those ice creams that you dip and they get the chocolate on the outside with the flake, because if you don't eat it quickly, it's going to fall down on the ground and, you know, you're going to cry. Like the Eddie Murphy skit many years ago about the ice cream. If you've ever seen that, it is hilarious. Ivy, you're 100% correct. He's looking great. What a year it's been for him. When I arrived, he was in pretty good condition. He had a bit of a limp back in January when I started, but he was in good condition. And something happened to him. We don't really know what, but his whole ear went wonky. I mean, James even went as far as to say that maybe he had a bit of a stroke, if that's at all possible in the leopard world. With all the stresses and hype that they have, don't think strokes are something that can occur to wild animals because, well, they don't really have the same pressures and go through the same stresses that we do with traffic and whatever, but who knows? And yeah, the squirrels are not at all happy with the presence of the Duke, and they often are quite unreliable, I find. Thirsty boy, Tingana. Which way are you going to go now? You're going to come right past us, are you? Probably going to rub his face against this branch here and do a scent marking. There we go. It's my bush. That's my jackalberry bush. Yes. He's right next to us here. How incredible is that? Something very special about being 1.5 meters away from a wild leopard. Very special. It never gets boring. Never ever. Okay, well, he's behind us. He's Now, moving along Ingwe Alley, this sort of drainage line on our left-hand side will eventually lead to, if he crosses it, will lead him to Chilapan, where Sydney left those Evoca males. It is a fun block to drive through. Not really, not the nicest, but there are some really nice pathways that we have followed him on before. And well, there's a good chance he's going to keep to those very nice pathways, because as we've been discussing, pathways are the ease of access. Okay, and here we're following him. A little bit of elephant activity on the floor here. I wouldn't be surprised if we pop into or bump into in a few minutes.
Well, I haven't found my black rhino that I had promised earlier, but I found this beautiful looking elephant calf in the middle of the grass, and I think she has matured to age. She can feed for herself. She can get grass and leaves to her mouth, and you see how much herbs or how much food she's able to put in her mouth. And these elephants, one of the reasons I stopped here, the tusks look so clean, sparkling clean, and I'm guessing it's after the rains, and most likely that could be the mother of the two, the smaller one and the little bigger calf. And just at the edge of that little forest there, when I came at this forest, my whole idea was to look for black rhinos, which you'll always see them not very far from forests like this, either trying to pop up or when they're going back. But instead of seeing a rhino, I saw this family here of Ellis. When they go, mud wallowing, or when you see them trying to cool off, or the white tusks you've been seeing, they look very different because they are covered by mud. But now with all the rains going on, they look perfectly sparkling white, knowing that the tusks are kind of incisor, the kind of modified teeth for Ellis. And of course it's a huge family. And to the left there you see more of them, and depending on what they want to feed on. So those on the edge, maybe they're more interested in some little leaves or branches or twigs from that bush there, and the first family we saw were ideally doing a lot of grazing. Unlike black rhinos I was talking about being browsers, elephants would be both browsers and grazers at the same time. And remember, we always have a very interactive safari drive. Should you have any questions, any comments, please send them through #SafariLive. This is the Mara Triangle in Kenya, such a long way from South Africa where Stevens is now, but we are able to bring you this wonderful wilderness. See the tusks I was talking about, see how clean they look. You might think this female here had some brush and just washed her canine teeth. They look sparkling clean. I'm sure questions like, do both males and female of the African elephants have tusks or not, so the questions we like hearing. And talking of the same, the African elephant, yes, it will be the both male and the female. And if you look carefully between her front legs, if she's going to move the left leg, you might see the mammary glands. Did you just see that? So elephants are unlike most mammals, where they got their mammary glands between the front legs. Well, that's exactly what the Bungay is trying to show you. Not sure whether Bungay can pan in a little bit there. Thank you so very much. Yes, sometimes we have seen early babies or calves nursing, and we get viewers asking David, what is that baby doing there? And they say that baby is nursing, that baby is suckling milk. And the viewers, excuse me, like, no, what are you talking about? Yes, but that's the location of the mammary glands for the elephants. Kaolin elephants are very protective animals, and especially when they have the calves, they tend not to allow anybody else. Once in a while we have seen standoffs between elephants and buffaloes or elephants and rhinos, but the cows, especially when they have the young ones, they're very protective and very defensive to their babies. It's pretty sensitive animals. And Kaolin, just to let you know, elephants are my favorite animals. Favorite animals because of what they do, how they behave. Like the lions, Kaolin, we were watching earlier, and I'm sure if you're with me, but we saw them starting very well, moving, stretching, walking around, and then at one point they all went flat, boom, and that was it. But elephants will always be doing something, moving, eating, drinking, playing, laying around, you know, flopping their ears like that youngster there. Control, you ask about the elephants just like rhinos. They're a little different. Well, both of them are herbivores. Let's just put it that way. They're both herbivores, but totally different behaviors. Well, different body morphologies. They are got different temperaments, and the only commonality I would say between the two is when we talk of the big five animals of Africa, where both elephants and rhinos are in that same list. But think of anything else in any shape or in any form, they're two very different animals. Rhinos have a shorter gestation period than ellis. Ellis have a very long one, 16 comparing to 22 months or so of the elephants. Elephants can be quite friendly. Like now, these ones here, they are barely more than 20 meters from where I am. You'll be very lucky to see a rhino that close, and more so the black rhino. So different behaviors, different relationship with animals or with people, and that is for the black rhino. But the white rhinos are easy to get close to. They're more used to vehicles, unlike the blacks. And elephants will always go in families, anything from 5, sometimes up to 20, 30. But rhinos, especially the black, they're very solitary animals. So the major difference between the two. But of course, once in a while, you see a male and a female together, or maybe a cow with her young ones. Kellyn, I would say, or you'd want to know why are the babies here not as playful as they are in Juba? Well, what do I say? Either it's about the timing, and especially in Juba, they got some little water holes here and there, and of course, elephants love water. Here, our water holes are not as deep, but if we are lucky and get to the Mara River when they are there crossing, we'll always see them being playful. It's just maybe they have different habitats. But when it comes to play, Kellyn, well, I would say they do play the same. But we've got a different habitat here in the Mara and in Juba, which has more water holes than where we are. Well, Tingana sounds to be mobile.
On safari. Well, he is indeed mobile. He has given us a little bit of a move around, but we are following him as we go. He's really close to the hyena den at the moment. He's just walked past us there, as you see. And well, on the sort of pathway that he's headed, the den site is nearby. One of the reasons why hyena like to hide their cubs in dens. And one of the reasons why they might not be available. Obviously, Tingana's got a reputation with the hyena. They all know him. Often you'll find him on the floor with some form of carcass, and well, they don't really bother him unless there's a group of them. And that is a termite mound. It's not the den, folks. So those of you who are concerned about the hyena, it is not the hyena den, but we are not far from it at the moment. We know that he likes to search and check termite mounds, as well there could be some form of prey in the form of warthog, and also gives him a vantage point to look over the area. Let's go around. He's moving around the termite mound now. Oopsie, sorry about the bump. How special is it that we get to spend this amount of time with this beautiful leopard? He's not as pretty, I must say, as Hosana, of course, but he's a battle-scarred veteran beside many youngsters. And, well, this is his dukedom. There we go. See how he uses the termite mound to his advantage. And he doesn't go right on top. If he did, he would have to flatten himself down. If he goes right on top, he then ends up becoming, or standing out a lot more than he would. But just a little bit of elevation, just to be able to see the thickets These are much denser this time of year, much greener, lots more leaves. And, well, he's going to scent mark as he goes. There we go. My African weeping wattle. The poor man's toilet paper there. And yes, folks, well, I did plan on doing a medicinal Monday today, but, you know, these things do fall out of my hands when we find Tingana or Hosana. I hope you do understand. I will make up for it tomorrow morning, of course, in a program called Traditional Tuesdays. We can't have medicinal Tuesdays, it just doesn't sound right, does it? Ooh. We'll stay here, let Aubrey go first. You go, Orbs. It's one of our local guides. Obviously everybody very happy to be with the Duke. Shannon, you want to know what happened with the hyena and leopard sighting with Hosana last night? Well, you're probably just going to have to watch next week's show. No, I'm joking. What happened is Hosana looked at him, did a bit of a growl. The hyena came around the other side of him. He turned and gave him another growl, and then Hosana moved off about 5 meters. The hyena came and smelt where he'd been lying down. And, well, then we decided to leave. Essentially, it seemed to be the exact same hyena that Hosana snuck up on earlier, because I saw the dirty mud mark on it. And well, it's a constant game of cat and mouse with those two, hyena and Hosana, running around following each other, trying to steal whatever food that they might have. But anyway, we are going to keep up with the Duke for as long as we can, but let's get back to Sidders with his lions.
So I am back now at the moment here by the Avoca sighting. I have been checking all over the area to see if we can find where the distress call was coming from, and there was no luck. Back here, Avoca is still doing what we know best when it comes to the lions during the daytime. Sleeping is part of their habit. These animals normally they become active just shortly after sunset. But today, because the weather is overcast, I was expecting them to walk around here for quite a lot, but I can see that to them it's normal. Whether it's overcast or not, lions, they want to enjoy their sleep. So don't get surprised, I am not alone at the sighting. There is other vehicles as well. You can see that this lion is not even worried or threatened by anything. It's just sleeping by the open area flat. As I indicated earlier, sometimes predators do predate each other. Lions, they do try and predate the cheetahs and the leopards. At one stage, I've seen the lions wanting to catch a cheetah. It was 2 males, and these lions, they found a very nice spot to hide, and as they were hiding, the wind was on their favor and the cheetah was coming. When the cheetah was about to pass, they charged, they jumped trying to catch the cheetah. The cheetah went too fast and disappeared. That is how the cheetah managed to escape that danger. So this kind of Carol, the avocas, I love them a lot too. The only challenge I have got at this stage is that they are not in the middle of the reserve. They are much more towards the border. From here to cross to the neighboring property, it can only take them less than 15 minutes. They will be gone. You can see the whiskers there as well, those kind of sense organs, the dot on the side of the mouth. Looking at the nose, you can see it's very much dark. When it's dark, it means they're growing. Normally they get darkened when they are older than 8 years. You can see the false eyes. You see that false eye? it's good if we are seeing them both these false eyes. We're just gonna show you now the other one. Unfortunately, you can see just a piece there because of the shade. We can't see nicely. So you can see that the Mangeni males, which has got the mange, at the beginning they were looking more beautiful like this. So let's quickly go back to Tingana. It seems like Tingana is doing something. So apologies for that. I think they are still doing something where Tingana is at the moment. So you can see that I was saying the Mangeni males, they were also much more beautiful like these ones. When the scabies, the ticks which transmit, the mites which transmit this kind of a disease, before they got transmitted, the disease is transmitted to an animal. This is how beautiful the lions looks like. But soon as they start to show symptoms of mange, you will see the hair loss, and you will see them itching a lot, skin getting irritated, starting to lose some of their hairs, including the tassels by the tail. And after that, when the condition is deteriorating, you will see them with no hairs, and it's so bad. But at this stage, the Mangeni males are slowly recovering. A cool breed. These lions, they do stay close to each other very often. The thing is, I think the other male is so very shy. We saw that when the other vehicles were having a sighting. So this is the one who is much more comfortable with the vehicles. The other one is just shy. Look at that now. Look at that kind of a positioning. Normally they do this in order to expose the underneath part so that they can be able to get rid of the parasite. What a beautiful mane. You can see the underneath the stomach is bright white. So now let's quickly go back to Tingana.
Well, thank you very much. Where is the sun? We don't have any sun here at the moment. It is behind the clouds, and well, that is the reason why the Duke is still moving. We're about to pop out at Treehouse Dam. He had a little cursory investigation of the hyena den. We didn't see anybody home. Had a little sniff around, but no one was there. He's going to pop out at Treehouse Dam, and I would not be surprised if we suddenly get an intimate greeting between him and Hosanna. I have no doubt that that potentially might happen this morning. You know how it is, folks. They seek each other out. Oh, well, he's changed his body language there. The watering hole, treehouse watering hole, is just down that pathway that he's looking down. And he might have spotted something. You can see it only in the change in body language. I can't quite see anything. Ah, there is an impala over there. Or is that a nyala? It is an impala. There's a couple impala just out of shot. I've got to lean right out of the car to be able to see it. We're just going to wait here for a minute and see if he makes any movement. He's got much better cover now than he had earlier, trying to stalk the wildebeest. There we go. You can just see it there behind that bush. The male impala. Well, he knows something's up. We have another vehicle with us in the sighting. The male impala kind of gets that sixth sense that it's being watched. You all know that feeling, don't you? You get that feeling that someone's watching me, and well, I suppose if something wanted to eat you, they ran, hey? Okay. Oh, they just ran off, but there is another one off to our left-hand side there that is a bit unsuspecting. Tingana fan, you say thank you for spending the day. It is my absolute pleasure. I quite enjoy it, actually. If you didn't notice, spending time with a leopard, well, there's definitely worse things to do in the world. You know, all my friends know that I'm working today. This is my job. Go and find a leopard and stay with him. Obviously there's a bit of work involved in driving and talking, but you know, that's okay. I'm not behind a desk. Okay, well, he is looking very, very regal. I can see another female impala just off to the left there, but she's just moved off slightly. But he's still looking in the direction of where those impala that ran off are. Who knows, we might be lucky with a hunt right towards the end of the morning New Year's Eve show. Wouldn't that be marvellous? Don't forget, folks, this is an 100% interactive and live safari, and well, any questions and comments you might have, we'd love to interact with you. I know Dave loves hearing from you as well, don't you, Davisito? He loves it. Tingana likes it as well. He might not know it, but he gets all of the comments as well. He's got his own Facebook page. We didn't create that for him, he created it. He scrolls through it. Can you imagine that really big paw on a mouse? He goes through mouses a lot though, because he eats them all the time. Cool breeze. It's a hard job, isn't it? Difficult. That's my desk. Always a cool breeze on my face, which is nice. It's a bit sticky right now. There's a bit of humidity moving in. It's not a bad job, I must admit. I've definitely had worse jobs in my life. Definitely had worse work. Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to move up a little bit on the left and maybe we can get another view of him. I don't want to disturb him anyway, so we're going to give him a nice wide berth, shall we? Come around the side here. Hello, Paula. Leopards do grow, but like most humans, we mature at a certain age. Some girls generally by 16 that they're done, there's no more growing. Some boys 21, 22 when they not when they grow, do they? Grey. Well, they don't grey. It's right behind the vehicle there. Those people are feeling a little bit weary. They don't grey. What does happen is their coat just fades a bit. I mean, it's always a beautiful coat, but it's almost as if it's just been washed a few too many times. And that is essentially what happens. It kind of loses a little bit of the goldenness. Like if you had to compare Hosana with Tingana, there's a slight sort of fadedness to his sort of jersey. It's been washed 1 or 2 times more than the little chiefs. He's going to go very flat up this termite mound. Look at that. Flat. Now he's going to try and make a decision about those impala and where they might be. He's probably still got view of them, but you see how he changes his body shape so as to blend in with the grass on top of the termite mound and to obviously take away the shape that the prey animals are so used to looking for. The tail twitching with anticipation. Will he be able to have the patience required to stalk up to some impala? I can't see them anymore. They are in some dense bush, which would be to his advantage. If he can sneak up close enough without being detected, within to the 15-20 yard sort of distance, well, then he might be able to launch a very powerfully fast attack. Oh, well, we've got a vehicle that has photobombed our shot there, so I'm going to move around so that we can just get another view. Obviously, do not want to influence him at all here. wants to catch some breakfast, we need to let him do so. Okay, well, it seems like we are bouncing between cat characters today, from Tingana to one of the avocado boys.
So you can see that the avocado doesn't want to move. He is still at the same position since earlier this morning, and the other one also is now lying down flat. So I don't think they are going to be moving very far, because the water is just here, and going towards the eastern side there's even another small dam there, the Twins Dam. So possibilities of us having this kind of a sighting this afternoon, they are very much high. So maybe they are going to be fascinated by any of the big animals coming to drink by this water hole. So you can see he's not even blinking the eyes now. He is on a deep sleep. Please don't forget that this is an interactive live safari, and you can talk to us. We are highly available on Twitter, #SafariLive. So you can see that these kind of animals, whether there is something in the stomach or not, sleeping during the day is normal. They are now trying to build up a lot of energy they are going to use after dark. So if they walk a lot during the day and hunt at night, a lot of energy will be wasted during the day, and during the day is not fruitful. These kind of animals, they also use darkness as an advantage when hunting. They are lying down here in order to get quite a lot of energy so that they can prepare to have a celebration of the end of 2018 tonight. Tonight they might do some hunting and have their first meal maybe at 12 o'clock midnight. So now let's quickly go back to the Masai Mara, where David is having one of those staying under the ground.
Avocados once in a while have also been known to hunt these pigs here, and these are warthogs and his mother, and I think 4 piglets. I'm trying to look at the dynamics here, because I'm seeing the youngsters are about four youngsters, and I think the 2 different ages, so there could be 2 litters here with 2 different mothers of these warthogs. And you can compare their sizes with the elephants, the background there. You can see how small they are, and also how different their colors look. The pigs always tend to remain on the ground because they're more of ground level. See how the piglets are running to catch up with their mothers. Minamu, you'd like to know, why do warthogs kneel when they eat? Well, there have always been a theory where before, if you look at their heads, Minamu, and their bodies look to be compacted, and they could be missing a neck. But what I think happens is, Minamu, when they bend down, they got a better leverage. They are able to scrap, they are able to scoop what they want from the ground, because they eat lots of tubers, lots of roots from the grass. So I would say, Minamu, that one gives them better leverage for them to be able to dig using, their lower mouth part of what they'd want to get from the ground. Otherwise, if you're high, they don't exert enough pressure on the ground, but if you bend, they have a better leverage. And that way they can dig anything out from there. Unlike the giraffes, who will just have very long necks compared to the knocks of the warthogs. Blue, very good question. You say, are warthogs omnivores? That's a good question. Yes, they are. But don't be surprised. We have seen warthogs once in a while scavenging on dead wildebeest and zebras. But I would say in general they are more omnivores than carnivores or than anything else. So yeah, they are omnivores, but once in a while we have seen them eating little skins or little meat or scavenging on any dead carcass out here in the savannah. But more often than not, grass, tubers, roots, some more leaves here and there. I'm sure if they get a flower they'll catch, but they're designed to be omnivores. Hello. So they tend to be on the edge there, so doing lots of green stuff. Pachyderm, you notice they got what's on their faces, and in general males tend to use them to fight. Males have 2 pairs and female 1 pair, and the whole idea, if they go head on each other, it helps them to protect either their faces, or when they hit, oops, they're on the run, they're Pachyderm, they use them to just shield the pain when they go headbutting. So ideally they're meant to protect them from the pain they would get if they fight, but also they use them to fight, and more so the males than the females. Alright, very good entertainment of the piglets there, always running, catching up with their mother, and have beautiful. Let's get quickly to Tingana.
Welcome back. Indeed, we are still with the beautiful Tingana, who has sat on top of the termite mound, trying to blend in with the grass on top of there. And that group of impala is still around. He's been eyeing them out, but waiting for them to stop looking in his direction. One of the impalas was just basically staring off blindly into the distance, chewing the cud. And as soon as he stops doing that, I am pretty sure Tingana is going to sleek down this little termite mound, using all the cover available to him here, and move into position. A big male leopard versus a big male impala. It's pretty much fair game. Sort of the maturity of a leopard is gauged by their ability to upgrade to killing a male impala, because, well, they are much bigger and stronger than the females, and to be able to cache that prize as well requires enormous power and strength if you want to keep it away from the hyena that no doubt will be on the scene very quickly, as they always are, and come out of nowhere. I honestly wish I could find a leopard the way hyenas do. Wouldn't that be a neat trick, Darby? We've both got our little sort of our sixth sense that we always sort of feel, ooh, there's a leopard, but to be able to physically track one down with your nose, I think would be a gift that people would pay very good money for. Leopard smeller. Anyway, we're allowed to be a little bit crazy on New Year's Eve, aren't we? Aren't we? Yes, we are. And hopefully the temperature stays like this, because, well, it has the potential to be a very, very hot day. Wow, Minamu, it has been an absolutely fantastic year. You want me to give you one favorite? Well, Minamu, I'm not going to be able to give you one off the top of my head now, but you should make sure you tune in to Safari Lives this evening, when we're going to be recapping the year in review, starting from the 1st of January until today. And, well, maybe not today, because to get those clips worked and done is just going to take a bit of effort, but at least since Saturday, and all of the action and highlights. I think, just off the top of my head, the time I've spent with leopards has been fantastic. I can't tell you which sighting is going to be the most overwhelming, but spending time with the wild dog family when they brought the fetus to the youngsters, the impala fetus, that for me was an extreme highlight. First of all, on my interview, which was the year before, I had Tingana and Hosana in a sighting. I've had Tingana with Tandi and Kalamba. I've had Tingana stealing meat from Hosana a number of times. Have had Tandi making some kills right in the beginning stages with Kalamba when she was only a few months old. That was some very special moments. She spent a lot of time in the drainage line very close to our camp, and 2-3 minutes into drive you could be with Tandi and you could be with little Kalamba, and well, wasn't that just so special? Those of you who remember back to January, February, March of this year, when she was just this little ball of spots. Very, very special indeed. And just the turmoil that's gone on, and the drama, the arrival of Hukumuri, the demise of Tingana, back to Tingana being strong again. One thing I haven't seen enough of, I don't think, is lions doing what lions do. But then up in the Mara, seeing the Owino pride killing that wildebeest, that was quite special. And the North Clan's response to that small growing pride within their territory was also something to behold. Oh, thank you, Cobalt. I've absolutely loved this year. And, well, I suppose, folks, I will have to give you one sighting that we're most certainly going to be discussing this afternoon. But when I found that honey badger with VM, and it killed a monitor lizard, that is probably going to have to be the coolest thing I have ever seen. So, and there's just so many things that have happened to us in our days. Darby, what's been your favourite sighting of the year? Dave's going to have to think about it. He's had some incredible moments as well. And I think the introduction as well of the technology that we have, I mean, initially using the drone was quite an issue. It was just quite sort of, I don't know, something different. But then when Seb and myself started mastering the use of the drone and getting the people to, or getting Tristan and James into sightings and finding lions hunting and being able to keep Tristan following Hosana with the drone, that was something very special to be a part of. And I know with the introduction of the FLIR camera, Dave has been thoroughly enjoying the technology and thoroughly enjoying the practicality of such a device. Sorry, Lukey, you said something about New Year's. I didn't get that. Waterboek. Yes, yeah, there was a very nice waterbuck sighting Christmas Eve, which we're going to leave right there. Afrikaans, we call it a waterbokkie, the one with the ring around the bottom that looks as if it's been sitting on the toilet seat. Well, it seems like David has managed to find another member of the Big Five. How he's catching on with all of them, I'm unsure, but let's go see which one he's got this time.
Well, we've got two buffaloes here which were having a drink, and then when they stopped here, they also stopped drinking. I do not know why, and they have no reason to stop drinking. Ideally, buffaloes, just like cows, are very water dependent, and they drink so much water, and hopefully they're going to continue drinking because I do not want to interfere with their drink. Come on, buffalo, you need to drink. Go down, put your mouth in there. It's very fresh, clean water after the rains came. So 1, 2 males as far as I'm concerned, because if we look on the horns you can see how big and how heavy the horns are, and he's full of mud, especially the one on the left. Caro, I agree with you, very muddy boys. Caro, we have always called them the Dagger Boys, but I think for today, Caro, we may change the name from the new year tomorrow and call them the Muddy Boys. Caro, what do you think? Because, excuse me, and when they get muddy like that, in general it will be like the dominant males. The dominant ones, or the ones that are on the high hierarchy, tend to put a lot of mud on themselves. and hopefully this youngster here one day he might become a dominant boy. I'm trying to guess he's a boy from what I can see under his belly. He's trying to catch up with Mama. Mama is pretty fast than him. You need to walk a little faster. See how fluffy he is, comparing him to the adults. So the African buffaloes. And remember, comments like the one I just got, beautiful one from Caro, always very welcome. Questions, same, hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. We get lots of joy when you engage with us. And that's an egret there. These white egrets will always move with these huge buffaloes, and the buffaloes keep disturbing the grass. There's an insect that will always jump up and down, and this is what the cattle egrets will get. I'm sure all of you have seen cows, and when cows keep moving, that's exactly what they do. Are you drinking or are you eating? I guess that was more of a drink. Yeah, you can see her swallowing the water. There must be some little pad of water there. All this is because of the rains we've been having the last few weeks. In Kenya we've been having the short rains, so she has to give it to the buffalo, not because the buffalo is too big, but she wants the buffalo to move the grass, and once the buffalo disturbs the grass, something will jump up, and that's exactly what that egret wants. You want to have another quick drink? Please do. Don't be shy. Kobo, thank you very much, and I think that's the sweetest thing I've had since I joined SafariLive. I've had so many good things. Kobo, that is very sweet of you. Very many thanks, and thank you very much here. We say Asante Sana, Kobo. Asante Sana, and may you have a wonderful 2019. So Kobo, I'll give you that small little gift there of that buffalo drinking. I'm imagining it's only you who is watching and not anybody else. Shame on me, eh? This must be a thirsty boy. They drink lots of water. Buffaloes, just like the cows. And that's why you see when they drop the dung is always semi-solid or very watery because they are very water dependent. And there's an ox speaker that just landed on his back. Melissa, the birds here, well, like for example those oxpeckers there. Those oxpeckers, Melissa, are feeding on the ticks and mites on these buffaloes. It's a different ballgame between these oxpeckers and the egrets. The egrets will wait for the buffaloes to move, and as they move, they disturb the grass, and that's how they feed. They catch all the insects either on the ground or the insect that will be jumping. Now, the oxpeckers, Melissa here, you see what exactly she's doing. I think it's a red-billed oxpecker. They tend to use their beaks like scissors, and they look for ticks or mites that could be, glued to the skins of these buffaloes. So they got some kind of symbiotic relationship, and he is not very comfortable with that bird, honestly. Wow, that's a great shot. Well done. Drinking and eating at the same time, the bird and the buffalo. That is quite epic. How cool is that to end the year? Ladies and gentlemen, I'd be very happy if you could tweet to me one word and tell me what you think about this. Because I would see, for me, it's just epic. Well, he just stopped, but that was quite exciting, eh? To have the oxpecker drinking at the same time with the buffalo while still on the head of the buffalo. How sweet was that? I'll be telling Bungay to give me that photograph at one point. Either a screensaver or it can be in my profile somewhere. But I have not seen that, I think, since I've been in the African bush. That oxpecker having a very quick drink while still tugging along the buffalo head, and very quickly she stayed where she belongs to get herself some food. Buffalo, well done. Thank you for allowing those oxpeckers on your bodies. I'm sure you're happy when they get all the ticks and the mites out. Excellent. I think I'll be moving. Okay, we got something different. Let's say the egrets, Melissa, we're talking about. You see, they just swing their head, but look, Melissa, carefully there. The egret is not concerned, but that one swing of the buffalo is good enough to disturb lots of insects there, and you'd expect the egrets, of course, to benefit by that and catch all the insects available there. Oxpecker, can you just do what exactly you did earlier? Go down and go have a drink. Or do you want to align your feathers first? Paul, Jennifer, you say that's a great tweet. Very many thanks, Jennifer. Asante sana. So he's just licking his nose for any water drops that could be there. He looks a bit mean, which is very typical of buffaloes. I'm not surprised. Buffaloes are very mean animals. Two birds there, the oxpecker, the egret, and all of them have been brought together by this buffalo here, but feeding differently. Ivak, you say fantastic, excellent, fantastic. That was very good. It was a fraction of seconds for what we saw, but that was a moment I want to live with for a very long time. It was so cool just to see that happen. Very cool. Well, thank you, buffaloes. You have really given me such a great gift for the new year, which is barely coming in a few hours. Fantastic. Great views, great landscape. The Olorola Escarpment in the background, the forest of the Mara Triangle, and the savannah. Excellent. And the last I remember of Avokas was to bring down buffaloes, but one time they misbehaved because they stole a kill that was brought down by the Nukuhumas, and they found the Nukuhumas feeding on it, and the Avokas pushed them out, and they had the buffalo.
So you can see the avokas are now in the property. Normally these avokas are attracted by the herds of buffaloes, as the Unkuhumas prefers to come after these buffaloes, avokas behind the Unkuhumas. So today they've decided to just come pay a visit just by themselves. This is not associated with any presence of the buffaloes. So these lions, they've got quite a very big place to roam around. You can hear there's quite a lot of birds calling, and the most dominating call is the Cape turtle dove. That is the Cape turtle dove. You can see the lions are used to those kind of birds making noise. They are not even worried at all. Still enjoying a sleep with all these big noises from these birds. So you can see that he's not even watching what is happening here on the surrounding. He's just sleeping. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to check the other one, as we saw that it was not just one, and see maybe the second one. Oh yeah, he's up. I saw that he's up already. I can see from here. So I'm just gonna show you now the one which is up. I think that one is better than the one which is just lying down flat. Now this is the skittish one. You can see that. This is the skittish one. He was having his head up, but now he has just decided to pull it down again. But the positioning is way much better than that one. Look at that. So he was up, but decided to just go down. This one is very much skittish. We have seen that on several occasions, not only today. We have seen him before. It was early in the morning, and he was just roaring and going. He can go very fast. So he's looking at the one who's sleeping here. You can see that if anything comes here, Ingrid, this is so relaxing. I agree with you 100% on that. Lion sightings are always very interesting. Even when they are just sleeping, it's something lovely. You can see that now he's also falling asleep. I think it's good that these lions are not sleeping together at the same spot. So if something comes, one of them can be able to tackle it. I haven't seen the hyenas coming to check these lions. Normally here by Twinsdam, this area, when there's a leopard, hyenas, they come and check on them. So but here, since these lions arrived, I've never seen a single hyena coming close by. Margaret, indeed, this is a lovely safari, and we will, as you indicated, see each other again tomorrow during the first day of 2019. This is a very nice pose. You can see that where this lion is. This is a very beautiful shot. Thank you very much, Senzo, for a good camera work. I think we are still going to bring you more of the interesting sightings during the PM drive. We still have got one activity to go. Maybe the afternoon one is going to be packed with quite a lot of much more interesting sightings than this morning. You will never know. We're going to compare between the two by the end of the afternoon game drive. So maybe by the afternoon, the very same avokas might change and show us something different. Maybe in the afternoon, they might wake up and hunt. So the thing is, same animals, we find them doing different things every time. Now they are sleeping. Afternoon, they might be doing something else. Interesting sighting can develop from the very same species. So now, from the main cats to Tingana, who is on the move, let's meet again in the afternoon.
He is indeed on the move. The impala have spotted him. Sorry about my head. The impala have spotted him, and they are shouting, and he did a little bit of a double take. He walked away from them, and then he started walking back again. Now he's walking very nonchalantly straight down towards Treehouse Dam. No doubt, seeing as it is starting to warm up, he's going to walk straight down to the dam and go and have himself a drink, put himself out in the open. I do apologize about my microphone. I seem to be doing a lot of damage to these microphones this year. It's all my twisting and dancing that I do in the seat. I do apologize about those noises. Well, he wants to come and hang with us. Look at this very special cat. What is he smelling? He may be trying to find a day cat that's hidden in the long grass, or maybe some baby impala that have been sitting as well. You can hear those impala snorting. That is how we found him in the beginning of drive, except it wasn't as incessant as that, because they obviously called and he moved off. Now they are still shouting their fury. I'll try and get another view of him before the end of our show. He's going to most likely go straight out into the open. Maybe he's going to head, he's actually heading directly towards the drainage line over there, where I had him on a warthog kill a long time ago. Well, Yvonne has been interning, even though she's extremely qualified. She's come out to South Africa to assist us on the tech side, and well, she's been an absolute delight, and this is Yvonne's last drive, last shift with us. I think she's leaving tomorrow. Yvonne, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on board. Oh, I've got a slow puncture. I've got a fast puncture. I've just driven onto something that has popped my tire. Well, as we go out with a bang, it has been a fantastic afternoon. Should I say morning? I'm losing my mind. I can hear the hissing sound of my tire as Tingana moves off on a hunt. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful morning. Wherever you are, we'll see you again for a finale this evening. See you then, Safari Lives. Have a beautiful day. Goodbye.